Thought about Tribe in a hot minute.
Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Band from Ringside.
Tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast, we have Fighter Fest Night 1. We have a Gargano carrying Kross title match in which Samoa Joe got a little involved at the end. We also have new tag champions in NJPW, that, and our Money in the Bank predictions, that, and a whole bunch more tonight on the Band from Ringside podcast. I said that like
twice. You didn't have to say it twice.
Maybe more than that. Shit. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel live. Hello, Marks, and welcome to the Band from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Handy Couture.
That's amazing. See, that's what I'm talking
about.
about.
That one even got me. I didn't, until I just said it, I didn't realize how gay it sounded. Handy.
Good job, Bo.
Thanks, Vice. And to my left, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Oh, shit. Allow us to bow our heads as I read from the latest edition of the Band from Ringside podcast, volume 214, chapter 3, verse 14, in the Good Smart saying, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. Holy Trinity of BFR. Good week of wrestling. ROH came back this week. Bandito won the ROH title. Tony Deppen and Dragon Lee had an instant classic, so if you didn't get a chance to see Best in the World, definitely go check that out. And then obviously you had the usual week of wrestling from AEW, WWE, and then we're going to sprinkle in a little New Japan at the end. LIJ back in the saddle again, starting to get draped in gold. I love it. Bring back Hiromu. We getting the junior belt back, baby.
We are coming at you from the steamy
That's not that bad.
hillsides of St. Charles, Missouri. Zach is maybe joining us later. It's his first or second week of the new job. He's training under his boss, so he is caught up now. We're starting a little later tonight because we were trying to make do for him, and now that motherfucker ain't even here. Would you believe that?
Yeah, because that's the prima donna that he is. You know what I'm saying? It's all about Zach.
Diva.
Okay? Now that we sitting here, we waiting patiently. You know, I had to watch Dark Elevation because I had 2 hours to play with.
I saw you on Twitter. I got kicked off of my normal Twitter, so I couldn't scroll through it. I got shadow banned from Twitter for 24 hours because I said last night during the Suns-Bucks game, death to floppers, and somebody reported me saying that it violated Twitter rules.
You motherfucker.
So I was all over wrestling Twitter today. I got all sorts of information. You guys are motherfucking crazy out there. Before we get into it, I'll tell you about Bill's Beard Company. It is a line of products that my wife Erin makes. It is beard balms, beard oils, beard shampoos, bath bombs, shower bombs, all sorts of good stuff. She sells it pretty good. Everybody seems to be pretty happy with it. I use it every day, and my beard is as luxurious as a beard could come. It's the only luxurious thing about me.
I should have used that the week of my vacation because I did have the beard going. I didn't shave until Tuesday night, the day before I had to go back to work. It was itching like a motherfucker, though. That's the reason why I can't grow the beard.
But I bet if you used...
Yeah, if I used some
product.
Yeah, I'd probably be able to grow that joker out. But that's too much gray hair for me. I don't want people to see my gray hair. I already lost my hair. Can't see gray hairs on top of this shit.
So, if you're looking for something like that as a gift or as something for yourself, hit me up at BFR Bill on Twitter. I will promise not to wish death to floppers because unlike the NBA, floppers in wrestling are a very good thing. I like the floppers in wrestling.
I can't believe somebody reported you for that.
In NBA, I just saw Jay Crowder Giannis barely touched him, and he went flying
into the bench. I was just like, Jesus Christ!
God, I can't stand it. On another person's post, like I was just going through Twitter watching that game. I was getting so mad at the Suns, and I just kept tweeting guillotine under every single highlight of that flop. Anyway,
yeah, that's why you got reported.
Tune into our Band from Courtside podcast for all of our NBA thoughts.
Suns in trouble. That's my thought.
But without further ado, let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick us off.
I can start anywhere?
Anywhere.
Let's start with something decent. NXT on Tuesday night. I know we're going to go back to the main roster towards the end, and I want to try to give Beer a chance to talk about his beloved AEW. So we'll start with NXT first. We opened up with Dakota Kai versus Ember Moon. Now, obviously, I think to me, part of the biggest story with this is Ember Moon being left behind as Tegan Nox and Shotzi, formerly known as Shotzi Blackheart, were moved up to the main roster. It seems like they're going to be on SmackDown. So I guess this is the way to kind of keep Ember involved in the scene itself. Dakota Kai obviously has a little beef with her, so they had the curtain jerker match. Pretty good match. Dakota Kai went over, correct?
Dakota Kai went over,
okay,
yes,
that's
with
what I thought.
some chicanery
going on. Okay, that's what I was getting ready to say. It really didn't. I was waiting for Raquel Gonzalez to get involved, and then finally she started to get involved towards the end to set up the finish where Dakota Kai wins. Thoughts on the curtain jerker?
I like Ember Moon better as a singles performer. I like Ember Moon a lot. Her finisher is badass, and she seems to hit it every time. I can't remember what it's called.
Eclipse.
Thank you. I should have known that. But I'm expecting this Dakota Kai Raquel Gonzalez split to happen sooner rather than later. But I kind of like how they're slow playing it because it seems like Dakota Kai is going to be the one flipping heel. Zia Lee comes out afterwards and challenges Raquel Gonzalez, kind of gets in her face as much as she can get in Raquel Gonzalez's face because there's about an 8-inch difference in their height.
You're being nice with that.
Then you kind of got an idea of where this heel turn might come from because Dakota Kai thought that Zia Lee was coming up to her like she was going to challenge her, and she just passed Dakota Kai up like she wasn't even there and went right to Raquel Gonzalez.
Boo, bitch.
And Dakota Kai was side-eyeing the fuck out of both of them, and so I thought that was creative, and if that's the way that they're going to split them up, that there's probably plenty of story to go. That seems like a pretty creative way to go about it. So
especially when I've been pretty vocal about Raquel Gonzalez would be the one to finally be like, my thought was the storyline would be Dakota Kai keeps losing, and then finally Raquel would be like, you know what, fuck this, you're dead weight on the Titanic, you got to get off. Now, this feels like this is almost a better, more intriguing storyline if you want to flip Raquel babyface, which would now be more in line for her to face the Frankie Monets of the world, Zia Lees of the world, so on and so forth. So,
and plus, for being a quote-unquote giant in the division, because she is a very large woman, she doesn't seem particularly heelish to me. It seems, and it might be... right after she won, they cut that babyface promo where it was her and Ripley and Bianca Belair, and it was like, that seems pretty natural. Meanwhile, Dakota Kai has a heel look. If you ask me, it seems like she's really good at being a heel. So, yeah, I'm totally down with it. Give it to me.
Diamond Mine has their promo, and then one Bobby Fish comes out. Bobby Fish just. A little backstory, if you are living under a rock for the last 3 or 4 years, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly were tag team partners in ROH, and then obviously coming over into NXT, being the Undisputed Era tag team champions for, 3 turns, sounds right. I was kind of surprised to seeing Bobby Fish, but I like this because it felt like Bobby Fish didn't have much to go with, and now you're pairing him against Roderick Strong. So obviously, former Undisputed Era partners against each other. Interesting flip. You had Jesus Christ, what's the manager's name? I can't think of it now.
Bevins or Bevins.
Michael
Bivens.
Michael Bivens, thank you. Oh, Malcolm Bivens. I'm sorry, Michael Bivens is
Belle Biv DeVoe.
Malcolm
Also, new edition.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was getting ready to say first and foremost.
Turn in your bona fides, dude.
Anyway, Malcolm Bivens kind of brushed it off. Wanted Tyler Russ to get the chance to go after one Bobby Fish. So we set that match up. coming up here in a little bit. LA Knight and Cameron Grimes' first vignette as Cameron Grimes coming up as the Butler. This was an interesting twist just because I didn't see this coming.
Not the direction I thought they were going to go.
Because Cameron Grimes is later on he outsmarts LA Knight, but at the beginning he's very just like, let's do this. I'm open to, to be the Butler or whatever the case may be. Not the direction I thought it was going to go. I thought, we were really going to rub Cameron Grimes' nose in the dirt, so to speak, and make him really suffer. And Cameron Grimes, for this storyline, seems to be one-upping LA Knight.
Well, it's not only that. It's that, and it's well documented. I'm in love with this storyline. I'm in love with both these performers. I did not expect them to go the route of, oh, you know what? Cameron Grimes doesn't even mind being a Butler that much. It seems like he's kind of likes it.
Fuck it. What I'm saying? You want me to ride this bad boy and mow the grass? Yeah, I got this.
What did he call it? He called it a bush hog? And LA Knight goes, I don't know what a bush hog is. Oh, my grandmammy used to chase me around in one of these all the time.
Like, that's what the crazy part about it is.
Aaron even laughed.
Okay, now that to me, that's a hard crowd to please when it comes to wrestling. So if Aaron's laughing, there's something to be said about
she
that.
Was like, what's he doing?
Yeah, I'm like, no, this is not the way this is supposed to happen. You're supposed to be hating this shit. But no, it was a good twist on a angle we've probably seen multiple times, and now we're doing it in the 2021 NXT style. I like the twist of Cameron Grimes one-upping LA Knight in two different segments. The second one we can jump to here in a little bit. Tyler Rust and Bobby Fish actually had their match. Tyler Rust, I shouldn't say obviously goes over, but he does go over with a little fuckery from Roddy Strong. My only problem with this, I guess it's two problems with this. The most immediate problem was if you're Bobby Fish, how you going to fall for the fuckery that you and Undisputed Era have been doing for the last 3 or 4 years, going for the distraction. You know how this shit works. If Roddy jumps up on the apron, you don't look.
If you start,
faces are stupid.
If you start pulling that string,
I know.
The whole thing falls apart.
I know, but it was me thinking it. I'm just like, come on, Bobby Fish, you know better than that. I think the macro of it is how quickly this match ended, where you had, I guess 2 weeks ago, Fish and Pete Dunne have a banger match, like almost 10, 12 minutes. This was under 10 minutes easily. It was like 7 or 8. It felt like to me where...
Oh, it was like 3.
Okay. This felt like to me we were trying to make Tyler Rust a little too strong, and it made, I guess, Pete Dunne look kind of weak on the flip side of it, if that makes sense.
I don't remember Pete Dunne fighting Bobby Fish. That was on NXT?
Yes, sir.
Jesus, I got a lot going on. I guess my only problem with this is there hasn't been a promo yet that really explains what Diamond Mine is, who they are, what are their goals, why are they a team. They have this manager that can talk, and he really hasn't done any talking.
No, I won't say that they haven't done their quote-unquote mission statement, but basically the couple of promos that Malcolm has done is basically like we will bring guys in and make them diamonds out of coal. You know what I'm saying? We already got Roddy Strong because he kind of ran down the list. Tyler Rust is essentially, the coal being pressurized into the diamond. We got the coach over there, and then here is essentially the diamond itself, the centerpiece of this all, and
did
Roddy Strong.
Miss an entire NXT? I don't think that I did. I think I watch it every week.
I'm pretty sure you did.
All right.
Saray is next. Funny, once again, the WWE main roster just don't give two shits about NXT. The week before, Saray calls out Toni Storm. I like the way that they kind of booked their way out of this. Toni Storm basically says that she doesn't know Saray from a slice of Wonder Bread. I got more wins than you basically had matches in NXT. I'm moving on to assumingly SmackDown. So be it. So we bring in one Gigi Dolan. This is Priscilla Kelly for those who are indie savvy. So you had Saray versus Gigi Dolan. Definitely a squash match in this scenario. To me, the biggest spot on this match was the drop kick where it just destroys poor Gigi in the face. Saray goes over. Gal del Fantasma comes out with a promo. It seems like Santos Escobar is not giving up his chase for the North American Championship, even though Swerve has the championship. So that means this is heel on heel, which I absolutely love. That means there's going to be fuckery going around left and right. No hesitation. Go ahead. I'm seeing you getting ready to say something.
I'm not sure they're not going to flip Hit Row face like real quick. Not sure about that. I just don't know. Like LDF is so good at being heels, and Hit Row seems to be,
I think both factions are over. If you had to make one the baby face for a momentary hot second for this feud, I could see you making Hit Row as a face, but I don't think they're going to play by the book.
Yeah, because Top Dollar is really likable.
Top Dollar is really likable. I'll give you that. As much as I'm not a fan of it, I can see why people gravitate to him. He has
not a fan of what?
Of Top Dollar.
Why not?
I'm just not a huge fan of just right now. His character just doesn't appeal to me. I like his in-ring work. He can rap a little bit. I give you that. His character doesn't really like Swerve. I like. You know what I'm saying? I like Swerve, but I've seen him in multiple places, so I've gotten a chance to really get that attachment to Swerve. Top Dollar, this is his first time with me, so he's got to do something more than be just a heavy.
Okay, all right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, what did you think about the Escobar-Dexter Lumis match?
I'll fast forward to the end, because, you have Cameron Grimes and
Dude,
LA
you
Knight.
watch fucking 16 hours of wrestling a week, and you're going to fast forward through Santos Escobar?
I watched the match. The match was okay, but I'm on record. I'm not a big Dexter Lumis fan, number one. Number two, the right guy went over as he should. And then number three, the end is what was the most funny part about this shit, is because now we're flipping it where Indy is trying to pick up Dexter. She drops him on the way to the ramp. And then on the way to the ramp, she sets him down real gently and getting ready to make her move, and then Candice LeRae cock blocks.
A few things about Dexter Lumis, and I know that we don't agree on this. First of all, how can you wrestle in jeans that tight? I mean, that's got to be, I mean, he gets extra, every single match he's in gets an extra half star just for wrestling in those jeans. Second, his character, and I've said this before, he's so in control of his character that he wrestles. All of his matches just ooze with character. When he starts sliding around, when his knees stay in place, but he slides around with his hands backwards, man, I love that shit. I like how Santos was scared of him and he was catching his punches. I'm a big Dexter Lumis guy. That's fine. I know that I'm in the minority on this podcast, at least.
Welcome to my world. Where do we leave off? Kyle O'Reilly comes out. He cuts his promo. He cuts his promo. I'm wondering where Kyle O'Reilly is going. I guess there's my next question. It feels like he's in that gray area of, what to do next. He's already lost to Karrion Kross clean. Adam Cole seems to be the likely next step.
Right.
I don't necessarily want to see that right away. I guess. Go ahead. What do you think?
My first thing about this segment was, didn't it seem like Kyle O'Reilly and Wade Barrett were sitting very close together? Jesus Christ. I mean, maybe I'm just used to people social distancing on TV.
No, they were up on each other.
They were right on each other. Second of all, it made me really miss Wade Barrett.
Yeah.
Third, he comes across like a total douche. I don't know if this is by design, but dude, no selling the loss to Adam Cole and saying that losses are just a part of what we do. That's just a loser mentality. And I know that it's right. And I know that when you're talking about sports, albeit, whether they are predetermined or real sports, losing is always a part of it, but like what makes people elite is that they fucking hate losing.
Right.
So when I see a guy like that talk like that, that just doesn't strike me as very babyface at all. I love Kyle O'Reilly. I hate this character. I don't know what they're doing.
I'll say this. For what is being built as a blood feud, this is not the promo I want to see. I want to see him pissed.
That too. Yes, that too.
Okay.
I mean, I think that we're probably saying close to the same thing.
Basically the same thing. We're just looking at from, you're taking the right path, I'm taking the left. I expected some more heat from him, some more fire from him. Fuck this shit. We got to run this back. I can't sleep until I beat Adam Cole decisively.
Right.
We need to figure out when this tie breaks. Something along those lines.
He even said something like, when I watched the match back, it looked like my head wasn't in it. It's
right.
Like,
where is your head at?
Right.
This is your arch enemy.
Shouldn't that piss you off
even more?
Right.
And he was just kind of, now that you're talking me into this, I'm starting to get mad about it myself.
It was really bad.
No, it was just, I wouldn't say it was bad creatively because, like I said, this feels like their blood feud, okay? Mm-hmm. And if this is going to be a blood feud, if Johnny Gargano kind of was like, well, I guess that Ciampa kind of jumped me from behind. I guess this is okay. We were best friends for one point, but
right.
No, you're supposed to be pissed.
Yes.
Pissed.
Yes.
Pissed for the fact that you won the first match, and now this, straight up wrestling match, you lost this straight up wrestling match where you are probably in kayfabe style the better wrestler. So yeah, you probably should be a little pissed about that.
Yeah, but I mean, just like real sports, there's guys who probably are more talented, but they just don't want it as much.
It's interesting. Let's see if Kyle O'Reilly gets a little fire coming down at the stretch, but as weeks go on, Cameron Grimes, once again, the second part of the vignette, this is where he's paying some guy to cut the grass now. So this is, like I said, one-upping LA Knight when LA Knight won the match fair and square.
Perfect.
But now the babyface has kind of turned the tables on him. So now this made me personally look forward to next week, because now next week I expect to see more of the same and how the LA Knight reacts to it. Not too over the top mad this first time, but I expect the more and more Cameron Grimes, kind of does the road runner to LA Knight's Coyote, you'll get more and more of LA Knight get pissed, and then we'll get another match out of this.
Listen, some people may like Lashley versus McIntyre. Some people may like, Shingo versus Ibushi. For me, in this house, so far, feud of the year is Grimes LA Knight. That's all I'll say.
Woo-hoo, that's a hot take. We had the
sports entertainment at its best.
We had the first match of the
Vince Russo would approve.
Breakout Tournament. I'm sure I'm getting ready to butcher this poor man's name. Duke Hudson versus.
No, you said it right. Duke Hudson.
Yeah, right. I was about to say the easy one.
It's Ikemen Jiro, right?
I put Jiro on it, so yeah, I didn't put his first name. So either way, Ikemen Jiro apparently is on 205. It's one of the few things I don't watch. And Duke Hudson really, to me, stood out, not only on the physical sense where he had the size mismatch, but the vignette beforehand, he really came off as a kind of a dislikable heel. He came off very arrogant, cocky, one of those guys where you wanted to see him take the fall. And I thought maybe this would be an early upset of the Breakout Tournament, but Duke Hudson did win in fairly impressive fashion. That to me was the first takeaway. I like Duke Hudson. The second takeaway is there is no bracket for this tournament. You can't find it anywhere. So that leads me to believe that they're going to kind of book this as we go along. Not a big fan of that, but that's just me speculating because we don't see a bracket. Usually last year, years before, New Japan is good for this. When we have a tournament, here's your bracket, play along with the rest of us. This year we don't have a bracket, so I'm kind of inclined to think that they're going to book this one on the fly. Thoughts about the first round breakout tournament?
Well, I guess I missed the Duke Hudson vignette. I saw the Giro vignette, so I kind of went into it thinking, well, Giro's going to win this one. I thought that Duke Hudson, Giro, my first thought was, I can't believe he's going to wrestle his whole match in this jacket. Like he never took the jacket off. I wonder if he was just nervous or what, or if that's really what he wrestles in.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I guess that's why not watching 205 kind of bit me right there, but that's cool.
But I like Duke Hudson a lot. I read about him a little bit afterwards. I forget who he came up with, but he's got some. He was on Raw, and I asked this question Tuesday night, and it's Shane Thorne, I think, is the correct answer. Oh yeah, that's right.
They came up on Raw a couple of times, won a match or two, and then they broke them up. It was before MVP put together the Hurt Business. He had Duke Hudson.
That's right. He's Brendan Vink.
Okay. He had Brendan
He was also
Vink.
Elliot Sexton.
Interesting.
I mean, he's been in WWE since 2019. So.
Okay, not too long.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, this is the third time around with a new gimmick, new name, the whole shebang.
He's Australian, Mike.
That's probably why they hooked him up with Shane Thorne, because whoever his first partner was got hurt, and then I think they either released him or he left the WWE in some form or fashion.
What did you think of my Australian accent?
Not bad.
Okay,
It's
thanks.
better than what I could have done. Next up, we had Pete Dunne, once again, kind of throwing his name into the hat of potential opponents for the winner of the main event of Kross versus Gargano. Basically saying, ask around, anybody will tell you, I am that man. I can take on any of these people that are even thinking about going against Karrion Kross. And then you had Ciampa and Thatcher come in and totally jump the dog shit out of he and Oni Lorcan. Thoughts on the backstage promo of...
Give me that match.
We going to do it right now?
Give me that match right now. That's what I want to see right now. I want to see Pete Dunne and Oni Lorcan versus Thatcher and Ciampa. Talk about 4 aggressive, hard-hitting wrestlers that look like they work stiff and are totally fun to watch. I love it.
Now, Oni Lorcan is one of the stiffest of the bunch. I think that would be a fun match. And obviously, I agree. I think that tag team match is coming up. The double K's, special K's in the house, Casey Canizero and Caden Carter versus Aaliyah and Jessie Camilla. The Robert Stone brand losing wheels one at a time. And finally, Aaliyah just had enough, smacking the shit out of Robert Stone after another loss and storms off. Frankie Monet kind of slips into the cut. I should go back for 30 seconds. Mandy Rose, I totally forgot about Mandy Rose coming out for the Saray match. Thoughts about Mandy Rose coming away from SmackDown and possibly having NXT long-term ramifications on Tuesday nights?
So my thoughts are, and this might be jumping the gun on some main roster stuff, but Bayley is out for 9 months.
Yep.
She tore her ACL in a training session. As the wind starts to pick up here, looks like storms are coming in. As long as it doesn't storm sideways, we should be
okay.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I was about to say, see,
We're podcasting in the elements, people.
You shouldn't jinx us like that. Just let Mother Nature do her thing.
Okay. So Bayley's out for 9 months with an ACL tear, and it appears that they shuffled up the entire women's side of SmackDown. They brought up Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. As you mentioned, it's just Shotzi and Nox now. Toni Storm had a vignette on there. Aaliyah breaks up from the Robert Stone brand, and the scuttlebutt is that Aaliyah is going up to SmackDown too, and they did a straight-up trade, basically, which is Aaliyah for Mandy Rose, meaning that Mandy Rose is down here. Aaliyah impressed somebody. I know that Vince was down at the CWC just a few weeks ago, so she impressed somebody. But that is the scuttlebutt, is that Aaliyah is up going to the main roster. So those are basically my thoughts. I think that Katie...
That destroyed my whole theory.
Did it? Sorry.
Yes, I don't care.
Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter, it's a shame that they're always losing because they're a fun tag team and they're actually a tag team.
No, they won.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's the reason why Leah finally was like, I do more for you than you do for me.
Well, I guess before this NXT, they were always losing. How about that? Can we say that?
Yeah, we can go with that.
So I can be right?
Yeah, we can go with that.
All right, thanks.
Adam Cole, baby, cuts his promo. Basically, once again, he's another throwing his hat out, throwing Samoa Joe's name out. Not a bad promo. I think it's one of those where he and Kyle O'Reilly have to figure out their shit first before Adam Cole can go forward, whether that is going to the main roster, whether that's staying on NXT. I'll just ask you like this, flat out. If I gave you the pencil, does Adam Cole stay in NXT for an extended period of time, let's say for the rest of the calendar year? Even though the draft is coming up, they moved it back into October, I believe now, instead of going on the SummerSlam weekend. Or do you move him up at any point? Because obviously you would have to have the tiebreaker with Kyle O'Reilly, and then from there you can move him up. You can draft him. What would you do with Adam Cole, baby?
I mean, he's main roster talent. There's no doubt about that.
I hear a butt coming on.
I think that leaving Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, baby, evened up at 1-1. I don't like the idea of that. If he's going, I would have him lose. If there's going to be a SummerSlam NXT takeover, I would have Adam Cole lose to Kyle O'Reilly, show up and super kick Kevin Owens or something.
So you would have him go to SmackDown.
I would have him go to SmackDown.
You're writing it. No, you have creative control.
I would have him go to SmackDown, and I would have him come out of nowhere, and I would have him super kick Kevin Owens out of nowhere, and start him off against Kevin Owens, have him go over Kevin Owens in a feud, maybe have him run roughshod as a heel, as a little shitbird heel. Not as a chicken shit heel, but as just a guy that's
one step ahead of you in some form or fashion.
Obviously
fuckery being involved.
Fights out of his weight class a little bit. Maybe takes out Nakamura. Actually, if I had the pencil,
you should see him rocking in the chair.
I would have him take out Kevin Owens, then get into a feud with Nakamura, and Nakamura's still got the crown.
Right.
And then they have a fight for the crown, and when Adam Cole gets the crown, he stomps it and throws it in the trash can. That's what I would do.
I want to disagree with you, but you said the right words. Stomp the crown and throw it in the trash can. Good job, my friend.
Let me book the territory.
At the main event, obviously, we have Johnny Gargano versus Karrion Kross for the NXT title with a Samoa Joe as the special guest referee. I'll talk about the match first. The match itself, I thought, was pretty good. I thought we could have did things a little better, but it got a little sloppy at spots. But I think that just kind of is what it is. Obviously, Karrion Kross goes over to retain the title. And then you had the ending where Samoa Joe raises Karrion Kross's hand in victory and then kind of slings it down a little bit and starts to walk away. And Karrion Kross just doesn't like that shit.
No. The match was good. Very good. I thought
Was this one of the better Karrion Kross matches that you've seen in NXT? Because you're the guys that really doesn't like his in-ring work between the three of us.
Well, I think his in-ring work, I'm the one that does or doesn't?
Does not.
Oh, I mean, I think he's fine in ring. What I don't like is his character. I think that his character is kind of hard to wrap around. As long as he goes full-blown heel, then I'm okay with it. And, this was obviously a match where the purpose was to further the story so we could get to Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe, whatever they're going to do. I mean, they're doing a lot of work with Samoa Joe for that motherfucker not to be cleared to fight a match because he's got feuds all over the place.
Oh, shit.
I'll say this, kayfabe style. If you are William Regal and you send Joe out there as your enforcer and Joe's only supposed to do shit if he's provoked, you know, there's being provoked and then there's trying to get provoked so that you can do something. And when you hold up Karrion Kross, like when you're outside with Karrion Kross outside the ring and you're just getting up in his face, like begging him to touch you, it's like
if Kross moved right, Joe moved left. You know,
for William Regal, you gotta be like, you know, this is not really what you're supposed to be impartial. Like you're not supposed to go out there and try to fight everybody.
Right.
It is a fun story though. I like how he keeps turning around and Pete Dunne is there staring down. Adam Cole is talking kind of babyface shit about him. He's like, you know, he came up behind me and put me in the clutch or whatever. I was highly entertained, and I did like Karrion Kross putting Joe to sleep to end NXT. It looks like there's... So here is another thing about the main roster stuff that we might be jumping the gun. They took away the name Kross from Nikki Cross. She's Nikki Ash now.
Right.
And the scuttlebutt is, like I said, I was on wrestling Twitter a lot today. The scuttlebutt is... Man, I've said scuttlebutt a lot here. Scuttlebutt and that. Yeah. The scuttlebutt is that...
As he had 30 seconds to trip off of it.
They took the name Kross away from her because to make room for Karrion Kross to come up to the main roster.
Right.
Doesn't look like they're moving away from Karrion Kross in the main roster anytime soon.
I guess let's kind of extend that, piggyback that a little bit further. I guess we don't know if we're going to get Kross versus Joe. If we get it, I'm seeing a lot of people already saying that Joe is going to win because Kross would be able to move up onto the main roster. Now, to that, I say, not so fast, my friends. One Kevin Owens did the same thing in the scene of feud when he came up. He was the NXT champion. And basically came up with John Cena was the U.S. champion at this point. Now, granted, you know, we're talking about a mid-card title holder versus Kevin Owens, who's basically the face of the NXT brand. But it is possible that Karrion Kross can be the NXT champion and be on the main roster. Maybe it's a scenario where they're trying to get more eyes on the NXT product.
Maybe they're setting up Karrion Kross versus Samoa Joe for SummerSlam.
That could easily be. That to me is the easy connecting of the dots. If Joe is not cleared, then that's where you kind of have the next problem.
Cleared.
I think so too. You know, you don't do this. You don't do this if you don't have the payoff. If this was main roster, okay, this is like 50-50. This is NXT. I expect a Joe Karrion Kross match to happen sometime in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Totally agree.
And I think that's fair.
Totally agree. You guys hear that thunder?
We gon' die, bitches.
That means it's time for our 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, so we'll push AEW back another count just in case Jack is ready.
Whatever you want to do.
I say Jack, I meant Zach. So
did you see? Quick sidebar. Did you see Jack when he was in town?
He's still in town.
Oh, okay.
He's in town all weekend. He was out with his family for a few days. I think he's going to be up at Jack Patrick's tomorrow.
Jesus.
We'll leave that in there. Let's talk about the, I forget what it's called, the NJPW 2-night event that they just had in Sapporo. What was it called? The Summer...
Oh, Summer, shit.
Summer Struggle or?
Yeah, Summer Struggle sounds right. NJSST, Summer Struggle.
So, I'll admit, I only watched the 2 main events. Both were very good. Let's talk about the first one first. For the junior heavyweight title between Ishimori and El Desperado, a.k.a. Despy, known to fans. Despy ends up holding on to it.
Right.
It went about 28 minutes, which is
coming in.
Listen, Mama might be coming in, but she can wait till I'm done with the podcast, and then I'll talk to her, okay?
That's right. You tell him. That's what a real man does.
Yes, she's not gonna come up behind me
we ain't stopping.
and get me to stop our podcast.
Good. That's what I'm proud of you, just putting the hand up and just be like, woman, wait.
Yeah, walk away.
Okay. You see me out here doing my damn thing.
Barefoot and pregnant. That's the way I want it.
God's going to strike us down the rain.
Anyway, it went about 28 minutes. El Desperado ends up going over. It was a great match.
Yes.
There was some great reversals in it. I don't want to be one of these New Japan guys that just says the last 5 minutes were great. The last 5 minutes were great. They were fucking spectacular. Pretty much better than any WWE wrestling that's happened in the last 20 years.
I don't want to be like that. No, the match was really, really good. I was kind of debating on whether or not Ishimori would take this because we've done this before and Desperado scratched out a victory the last time. So I was wondering if this was going to be the time where Ishimori took it. Fuckery on both sides, especially coming down the stretch, which, like I said, that's what I like. You know, these are two heel factions. Even though Kanemaru came out to make the save when Bullet Club started the fuckery first, El Phantasmo came out and got interfered first, and then Kanemaru came out to make the save, which is kind of funny to say that about any heel faction. But anyway, nonetheless, that's what I like about heel versus heel. You have dynamics you don't normally see. So in this scenario, they laid into it very well. The match itself, like I said, I thought was really, really good. I hate to use the word instant classic, but that's what I used when I saw it immediately. If you haven't seen it, go check the shit out. This is why I like the Best of the Super Juniors when it comes out, and God forbid if the borders are closed, it's going to kind of take away from it. But if we can get everybody into it, you're going to have if you can get Dragon Lee over to New Japan, that would be a great thing to go with.
Well, apparently Robbie Eagles has already been quarantining and is already in Japan, so he is there.
He's the next guy that basically threw his hat out there after the match. If you don't watch New Japan, this is one of the reasons why I like New Japan, is because you don't really have to wait more times than not when the champion, if the champion wins or if the champion loses, there's a new champion. More times than not, you have an immediate challenger coming down the ramp to throw his hat in the ring to be the next challenger. In this case, Robbie Eagles came via vignette and basically said that he's coming back to challenge the winner in this case.
But
obviously,
he's got a match this week on the televised show. I was just, when you texted me and Zach and you were like, hey, New Japan to watch this week, because I usually depend on you to tell me if there's something newsworthy that I need to watch. No spoilers. You never give me any spoilers. You're like, hey, just watch this shit. And I did. The thing about New Japan, which is, first of all, my response was, hell yeah. It's like, because, AEW and NXT are great. Raw is terrible. SmackDown has been on the uptick, but varying degrees of success from week to week. But at least with New Japan, you're going to get like a barn burner of a main event, no matter what. No matter what. Now, the undercard on these two nights, the undercards were pretty. I was kind of skipping ahead to the next one. I was like, should I watch this one? Should I watch this one? I'll watch a little bit of Ishii, beating up somebody. But really, you just want to watch. You want to watch those main events. Now, that's not true for when they're in the Tokyo Dome or Dominion or anything like that. But it is true for these, middle of the road shows.
I'll say this: Ishii and Kenta. Well, I shouldn't say that. Kenta and Tanahashi have a little bit of beef going, but I think that's part in fact that Jay White is over here in the States, and they're going to do a New Japan Strong show, I think, sometime in August. I can't think who he's going to. I think he's going to defend the Neverweight title. I might be wrong on this one. Evil and Ishii are beefing now because Evil jumped Ishii after their Neverweight title match, and he and Dick Togo jumped Ishii, and after it happened, I kind of shook my head. I was like, you know what? This is what Evil should get, because now as you're sliding on the way back down the card, Ishii is not going to take this easy on him. He's going to light your ass up at every given turn. So the next night after this,
Stone Pitbull, baby.
They had a 6-man or whatever. So of course Ishii comes out and just gets in the ring and immediately beelines over to the Evil, and they start fighting. So they're probably going to have a feud. One of the ones that I'm intrigued with is Okada and Jeff Cobb. So
for sure,
for Jeff Cobb, basically, I believe it was Okada and Yo versus Jeff Cobb and the Great Okan. I shouldn't say obviously, but United Empire won. But in the first match, he being Jeff Cobb, looks at Okada and says, get this boy out of here. And then basically, in New Japan terms, that's what you say to one of the young lions, one of the rookies, young boys, whatever you want to call them, that's their job, is to get the dead weight out of the ring. So when Jeff Cobb says that to Okada, that is, that's offensive, dare I say disrespectful, I'll channel my inner Stephen
Definitely
A.
can't be talking to Okada like that.
I'll channel my Stephen A. at this point. That's just being disrespectful. So at this point, Okada looks at Jeff Cobb, was like, I know you just didn't say this. So that is another undercard match that's getting ready to come up here in a little bit. The build for this particular match, the junior heavyweight match, was really good, just for the fact that with guys under quarantine, Kota Ibushi missed a couple of nights because he got his COVID shot, so he got a fever for it. They took him off the card, so then they had to kind of mix and match things as they go. Kenta and Tanahashi, I think, is interesting just because it's just two old school guys. I think they can give us a good match. Jeff Cobb and Okada, I didn't see that coming, but I think if you let that shit play itself out, you have a chance to kind of build Jeff Cobb moving forward. And then to me, like I said, the biggest thing is I just want to see Evil just get worked. I mean, that's the Benedict Arnold of LIJ. And anytime somebody want to whoop his ass, I'm all for watching that shit anytime, any place.
Yeah, what's the over-under on ref bumps in the Evil Ishii match? I'll put it at 2.
Oh, I'm taking the over.
Okay, I'll put it at 4.
Yeah, I'll still take the over.
I'll take it at 6.
It's Bullet Club. I'm taking the over.
So night 2, the main event was the Dangerous Tekkers, my man, Zack Sabre Jr., and my man, Taichi. Yeah, I'm saying he's my man now.
Taichi's the man. That's what I was saying. I didn't like him at first when I started watching New Japan. As things moved along, I really started to grow an appreciation for him, especially with his G1 match against Kota Ibushi.
Versus your man, Naito.
No, my faction, LIJ, Naito, and Sonata for the IWGP tag titles.
I'll say this. I've watched a lot of tag title matches. I always try to watch the tag title match, whether it be GOD or whoever. Dangerous Tekkers have held the belts for a long time, right? Who'd they take it from?
Off and on. They just took it away from GOD very recently.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I guess I don't watch them all. But
fairly recently.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, the listener. But this was my favorite.
I like the fact that for me, I didn't know that.
And we should mention Sonata was in there, too.
Yeah. Sonata and Naito versus Dangerous Tekkers. I didn't think that you see LIJ in like 6-man, 8-man tags, and they have that chemistry between them all. I just wasn't sure how chemistry would be with Sonata and Naito, and it was actually pretty good.
Did you watch it with no spoilers?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Were you surprised?
Very. Honestly, I thought that
I was surprised also.
I thought Tekkers were going to retain, but then when I saw LIJ win, I'm like, okay, we're kind of opening up at least new matchups, and that's one of our biggest knocks against WWE is that they always recycle the same match week after week after week. So now with LIJ being the champs, Dangerous Tekkers are going to get their rematch on the 25th. That's the same night where you would have Shingo and Kota Ibushi for the title. The July 25th Grand Slam night is a fucking loaded match.
It's a loaded card.
I'm sorry. If you,
they've already announced that the Dangerous Tekkers are getting their rematch.
I believe that's Despy and Robbie Eagles are going to wrestle for the junior title.
Yep.
And there's one more match on there, and I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. It's another title match, and I can't think of what it is. Just go to NJPW World.
Well, it's got to be the never weight.
No,
right?
I was getting ready to say Jay White's over here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. When I was watching NJPW today to prepare for the podcast, and I sent a text message.
You motherfucker.
I sent a text message. No, I sent a text message to you and Zach in the week over the weekend. Over the weekend, I was cutting the grass or something, and I was just listening to the end of our podcast because I was trying to. I forget what I was listening for, but I talked about Vince Russo a lot last week, and when Vince Russo says he's not a fan of in-ring work, that's when it's easiest to be like, man, fuck Vince Russo. If you can't just drop in, like, if me as, like, listen, I like New Japan more than most Americans, probably. Most American wrestling fans.
New Japan is my favorite promotion, hands down.
Me too, but I drop in. I don't watch it as religiously as you do, but when I have matches to watch, I don't know the whole story between Despy and Ishimori, but I'll be goddamned if I didn't watch the entire thing. I'll be goddamned if I didn't love Ishimori practically overselling the arm. He just basically screamed for like 8 minutes, just overselling the shit out of it. But man, that's what I want. I mean, it takes all kinds, right? There's all sorts of different pro wrestling out there. For you to be like, well, I don't really like in-ring stuff, that's when you got to be like, man, Vince Russo can eat a dick. Fuck off,
to me,
idiot.
I get all the sports entertainment, and I get it. You have to build for the match. But then when the match happens, that's the entree, okay? If you want to look at it as, a restaurant kind of deal, you can have all these great vignettes and promos as appetizers and
but listen, bro. I like sweets, bro. I like all dessert. That's what Vince Russo would say to that.
And to that, I would say, you know what? You can still have your dessert first, but you can still need to have something behind that.
Or your appetizer can be sweet.
Without question. How many times have you seen a savory appetizer? Plenty of fucking times.
Right.
So there's no reason in the world not to have a finisher. You can still have your amuse-bouche, if you will, to cleanse the palate, but at some point we have to be able to have the payoff.
Join us on our food podcast, Banned from Tableside, to go through all of your food,
your culinary needs.
Yeah, we'll get through it all. We promise. Let's get to that. Unless there's anything else you guys say?
No, I was going to say, I appreciate the fact that you sent me the tweet about Zack Sabre Jr. kind of face-washing Naito.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I did. I kind of needled you today while I was watching that match because Zack Sabre Jr. and Naito have a classic G1 match in their arsenal that was just last year.
And kind of to piggyback on it,
they have such chemistry. They're great together.
They didn't cross paths. Zack Sabre Jr. did not want to start with Naito and the 6-man, 8-man, whatever the case may be. They would never start with each other at any point. Zack Sabre Jr. was just like, no.
Right.
And then in this title match,
and Kevin Kelly was talking about prop bets.
Right. He got all pissed off.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that part was funny. Then finally, when they did get in ring, Zack Sabre Jr. was getting the best of Naito. So Bill sends me this tweet, and I'm sure you can go up on my Twitter page, BFR JCB, BFR Bill, BFR Zach, all lowercase letters with an H. I'm not even sure what Lucha Chris's Twitter handle is. God knows.
3013 TV.
Yeah, 3013 TV. Sounds right.
He's like our baby brother. Just keeps starting a band every week. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll come see your band. Just let me know when you guys are playing.
And tell me the name of the fucking band, for Christ's sake. Anyway, in this scenario, where Zack Sabre Jr.'s face washing Naito, I'm watching this and I'm like, man, that's fucked up. It's two of my boys.
It's so disrespectful.
I love it, but I'm just like, man, I hate to. It's like my brothers. If I had two little brothers I both liked, and they were fighting, I was kind of like, man, yeah, all right, man.
It was so funny though, because it was so disrespectful, and Zack Sabre Jr. Sometimes I forget that he's British, and he starts talking in that British accent. He's like, oi, what's up? Oi, what's up?
Okay,
it just sounds like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins.
And just putting his fucking foot in Naito's face. I'm just like, damn, man, come on, Naito, come on, man, do something.
But I said that to you to needle you a little bit, and you're like, oh, as you throw one across the bow, it's like, hey, I'm just trying to have fun, as your boy gets humiliated.
I'm like, okay.
Oh, so there's number two.
So the greatest technical wrestler that I've seen in my lifetime is, basically face washing the most charismatic wrestler I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years. You got me, man. Okay, that's just supposed to happen.
Go watch the match if you haven't watched the match. It's fun. They have a rematch. There's also a little scuttlebutt about Okada and Tanahashi throwing their head in the ring
as a tag team.
Tag team.
I'll say this: if you're going to do this, this is going to be the one time I'll let the WWE kind of infiltrate my favorite promotion, because Okada and Tanahashi in New Japan history, I guess, and this is where I miss Zach on this one, I would call them rivals, if not bitter rivals. Okay? I would lean towards the bitter rivals portion of the program, just because what I think I know, Okada came and took the title away from Tanahashi after coming away from Excursion. You just don't do that shit, okay? So at that point, if you're Tanahashi, you're probably going to be a little pissed off about that. If you're going to put them together, that's the ultimate kind of mismatch team, and it kind of sounds like WWE, but it's intriguing in the sense I would like to see them against Naito and Sonata for the titles.
It's also New Japan, more so than the American promotions that we follow, have really, who knows how many times somebody's taken the pencil and starting to book shit, and it's like, well, now we have a lockdown. Oh, now this guy has COVID. Oh, now this guy can't travel over here. They have really had,
of everybody that we really follow,
they've had a harder time.
New Japan has probably had the most hurdles to have to deal with.
They don't always put a whole lot of thought into the tag belts, but, like we say about WWE, like when Adam Cole fought Daniel Bryan on SmackDown, it was like sometimes creativity needs guardrails, And when those guardrails are put in place, then all of a sudden some great stuff can happen. And I think that Naito and
Finn Balor and AJ Styles, I think, is a great example of that shit.
Yes, exactly.
We didn't think that would even happen. And when they announced it, it's like, holy shit.
It was a WWE Match of the Year candidate for sure.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure
it meant nothing.
In the WWE world, it probably meant very little. For those that watched New Japan and are WWE fans, this is like their dream world coming over to WWE. I think that's probably a part of the reason why AJ and Shinsuke is looked so disfavorably, if that's a word.
It's a word.
Okay.
It's looked upon poorly because we expected so much, but
those that are like New Japan hardcore that watched that feud unfold and expected that feud to come over to WWE and have that same.
So here's an analogy that everybody can relate to. It's kind of like when you're looking at your Sunday NFL bets, right? And you have 12 games, and you just get to pick from any of them, and you're like, oh, I'm going to pick this one, and I like the Giants +6. They're better than everybody they're better than everybody thinks. And you just look at all this stuff, and you make 9 bets and you win 3 of them, and you're 3-6, and you're like, fuck. But then on Monday Night Football, you only have 1 to bet, and you're like, well, I like the Titans and the under, and you know what? I'm going to parlay it, and then you hit it and win all your money back. It's like sometimes creativity needs guardrails.
So that's your excuse for your rampant, degenerate gambling. Sometimes creativity needs guardrails.
I'll tell you what, maybe every Sunday I should just send to you, Jason. I'm like, hey, just give me 2 games that I should bet on. And if I just concentrate on those 2 games, maybe my kid will go to college. Let's get to that 3 count.
Your kid's going to college. That's ain't even my kid. She's going to college.
Jason, go ahead and give us a 3 count.
3 count is we're going to talk about a little AEW. Sorry, Zach, I love you, but
We put it off.
We can talk about main roster leading to predictions if you want to, or you want to talk about AEW.
Well, yeah, we could do the predictions as the 3 count. That's fine. I'm going to play the music then.
Play the music, check.
Oh, wait. Before we play the music, let's talk about SmackDown real fast. Because SmackDown, this was another text that I sent to you and Zach, where I thought that SmackDown was incredible. Like, one of the best SmackDowns I've seen in a long time.
It was like realism and sports entertainment all.
I don't know if it was the mood I was in. It was just like a Saturday afternoon. I was like, you know what? Aaron's not here. I'm just going to put on SmackDown, have a beer. And I was just kind of sitting there having a beer, not even getting fucked up, just relaxing, It starts off with Roman Reigns and Jimmy and Jay, and they do the group hug, and it's got the camera is focused on Roman Reigns. Baron Corbin, I'll just run through the stuff. Baron Corbin, now they kind of have a turn with his character, which is like down in the dumps Baron Corbin, which he's been so stagnant for so long that it's a nice change of pace.
It's something.
I'm on record as being a Baron Corbin fan.
Can't stand him. If this is... don't get me wrong. For the character Baron Corbin, I love to see him down, quote unquote, down the dumps. But it was time for him not to be King Corbin. If this is a next gimmick,
it was
then
way
so be
past
it.
its expiration date. Way past its expiration
for
date.
sure.
Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura have a match. Nakamura goes over. Their match was like all their other matches, which is just okay.
Well, no, it was. This one actually had another step. The winner goes to King of the Ring. Nakamura wins, so he's in the
Baron
King of the
Corbin
Ring.
talks about how he's late on his house payments and he's got his car repossessed, and
Shinsuke's got his car now.
Nakamura and Rick Buggs got his car now.
I mean, damn, are you doing drugs? What's up?
Shotzi and Knox come up. They beat Tamina and Natalya, which was a fun match. It's fun to see. It's fun to see new people, and it's fun when they shake up the formula. That's all it is.
But this is not a shake up of the formula, though. The only thing, my biggest problem with this is that once again, champions lose in a non-title match. I get the fact that you want to have the new team come up, but then just bring in 2 other jabronis off of the street and just have them go over the jabronis versus go over the tag team champions.
Some of this other stuff I've already brought up. Bayley's out. Carmella is the replacement, so Bianca Belair is off the Money in the Bank card, but Carmella is going to fight Bianca Belair tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
Friday. We're recording this on Thursday the 15th, so on Friday the 16th, we don't know who's going to win. For the people that listen to it after Friday, you want to throw a pick out there?
Oh, it's got to be Bianca Belair. I mean, Sasha Banks is on the on-deck circle in some form or fashion.
I agree. Liv Morgan, Sonya Deville puts Liv Morgan in the Money in the Bank match. There's a Toni Storm vignette. So this is all, I know this is old news now, but while I was watching it, I was like, holy shit, like this is a jam-packed show.
Right.
Like Cesaro and Seth Rollins have a typical Cesaro-Seth Rollins match.
Yeah.
Let me know why you're mad. Is it because they've already given up on the Cesaro push?
I don't know if they've given up on it, but it just kind of feels, it kind of feels like this is Cesaro's step back. Seth Rollins doesn't need to be in this match, and we're going to do predictions a little bit. But guys, that's where my biggest disappointment is where you could still have Cesaro in this match. He doesn't even have to win it. Seth Rollins can easily challenge Roman Reigns, where you can have Cesaro win it. Seth Rollins is like, no, fuck that. Put the briefcase on the line against me. He can win the briefcase or not win the briefcase. Seth Rollins is very, he has options in this point. I was just disappointed in the finish. The match itself is once again another great Seth Rollins-Cesaro match.
But I was watching. I watched the whole match, which is not something I do with main roster stuff very often.
No, but this is one of those matches you should watch.
It's one of those matches. It's like, if you were, so much of wrestling fandom is looking ahead to the future and being like, oh, what could be? What's the next match? What's the match that's going to rule that could be? And I told you that it was going to be Cesaro versus Seth Rollins in the 3-month feud that included a WrestleMania match. You'd be really happy. So in that moment on Saturday afternoon, sitting in with no shirt on, in my gym shorts, drinking a beer, watching this, and sitting right next to me. Sitting at my feet.
Duh.
I'm sorry. Me and Reba were watching the match.
Reba wasn't watching. She's like, where you going? I'm with you.
Yeah, she's like, you ate food? Why don't you cook me some eggs again? I just sat and I was like, man, how much fun is it to watch these two guys in their prime fight, even if it's on SmackDown, even if it's not a 5-star classic
in ROH before.
Sure,
it's still fun to watch right now.
Yeah, and it's on your television. ROH, you gotta seek out, man. WWE, it's just right there.
Right.
I'm still not giving WWE a pass. I am gonna say though that this SmackDown was really good because then next you had Edge backstage and Seth Rollins gets in his face, and so you have an Edge and Seth Rollins
tease,
interaction.
I'll go with tease for lack of a better term.
So if you remember when Edge was on the shelf and Seth Rollins was part of the Authority, and I think he had J&J security back then, he tried to end Edge's career. And Cena came out and saved Edge, if you remember. Cena came out and saved Edge. So they have history.
Yeah. They're going to have to bring that up. If that's okay, so
you didn't feel like getting into it, but now you're into it.
No, it's not even that. I'm going to kind of look into the future and not try to ruin the prediction portion of the program. If you're going to do an Edge Seth Rollins match, okay, you have to bring back that up. You have to remind fans that Seth Rollins tried to take out Edge.
Is not WWE's strong point.
Okay. So that's the biggest problem, at least for me. From that point, it would just have to depend on who wins the main event, A, who wins Money in the Bank men's side, B, and then we can see what Seth Rollins does.
We're almost there.
I know.
Next up was Chad Gable basically cutting a promo for Otis like he's a manager. Otis has cut his hair, has shaved his face, and has adopted a new demeanor, and I'm here for it.
It's better than what it was. I mean...
Oh, I've never said that Otis wasn't talented. I've always said that he was a comedy guy.
Acts, yeah. Comedy acts shouldn't be at the top of the card.
Thank you.
It's better than what it was.
Oh, well, he kind of looked like a badass.
They're booking him to be the badass. I want to see what happens when the Street Profits come back. Now, if they book Alpha Academy over Street Profits, now we're talking. If not, then we're doing this. It's kind of AEW-ish where we build them up to where the person that we want to have goes over the person we're building up.
We live in Missouri.
Yes, sir.
St. Louis, St. Charles. For those of you that aren't from the area, St. Charles is about 20 miles away from St. Louis. It feels very far away from St. Louis. Now, if you go about 20 miles out further from here, it feels like you're on a different fucking planet.
Wentzville, baby.
Wentzville's only like 12 miles away. Otis with his haircut and his shaved face looked like a bunch of dudes from, like, I don't know, what's the Hillsboro? Fucking, no offense, Tinder Mahal, Farmington.
He don't listen.
No, he don't listen. And I didn't really mean no offense either. I don't give a fuck, man. I've been to Farmington.
Yeah, I was
it's rough.
Okay, he could look like that bouncer in this one strip club in Farmington.
Is there a strip club in Farmington?
I don't know, but if it is, Otis is the bouncer.
If there is, I bet all the chicks look like Tinder Mahal.
Oh, no!
The last segment was Edge goes out to, or Edge says to Seth Rollins, I'm going to do something that you wouldn't do. I'm going to go out and I'm going to call out Roman Reigns. Jimmy and Jay come out. The Mysterios come out. It's a schmaz, and I know that you hear me say on this podcast every week that I'm against schmazes in AEW. SmackDown doesn't overuse them like
Agreed.
AEW does.
Agreed.
So this was okay. Everything made sense. The
work,
Mysterios, the Mysterios should be pissed off at Roman and the Usos.
So you're going to come out, okay, well, we got you.
And then this really, I mean, this is when I texted you. This is when I kind of marked out when the piece of the chair broke off and Edge put Jey Uso.
Whoever. I mean, he got them both.
Oh, you can't tell them apart? Oh, you can't tell the Jacksons apart? Oh, you can't tell the
You can put one or the other in this scenario. He got them both. It doesn't matter.
But he puts them basically in the
crossface.
In the crossface.
With the steel bar in the mouth.
With the steel bar in the mouth.
Like, whoa.
And yells at the camera, Roman, I'm never stopping. And Roman's kind of chicken shitting his way back up the ramp, scared of him. Bro, that is good television. That is good stuff. That got me ready for the match.
I'll piggyback on this. I'm pretty sure I know who's going to win. However, you have to get me in, invest me one way or the other. You have to build the match up to the point where now I still want to watch the match, see Jimmy
Roman Ray.
Or say Jay versus Roman.
Yeah, you just want to see how they book it, even though you know who's going to win.
Yeah. Or in the match itself, you have to tell me a story that's going to keep me in the match. See Jay Roman part 2. To now I'm just like, oh shit, damn, this is actually still really good. I know who's going to win, but it's still really good. Either way, when he was working over both Usos, I'm like, come on, Roman, you going to sit up there? Okay, dog.
That was good television.
Yeah. So now
that's a good story.
So now that's a good cliffhanger. It's not even going to be a cliffhanger because they still have a show tomorrow night, and then we'll see what happens. But for me, that was a good way to end that SmackDown because now, even though I'm pretty sure who's going to win, your boy's over there getting that work. He ain't going to do nothing.
Roman Reigns.
Even if he wins, then you gonna still let your boys get that work?
Right. You still have they still have all this drama
to unshuffle with.
Roman Reigns and the Usos are must-see TV. It really is.
I'll just say this. It's great. I'm going to be really interested, and then if we want to go to predictions, we can go to the predictions at this point. I'll be interested to see what they do with Jimmy Uso moving forward. He has a lot of shit on his plate to deal with. They can shut this feud down and
shoot or kayfabe.
It's shoot style. I mean, this is a legit shoot at this point. He's got shit to deal with. This is his 3rd, 4th DWI. I mean,
dude, you're in St. Charles, man. I got buddies with 7 or 8.
Okay,
still driving around.
God bless them all.
Still driving around drunk, falling asleep in Steak and Shake drive-thrus, man.
Good friend of mine had about 7 or 8 too. He lived in St. Charles. Another story for another time. I'll just say this. In this scenario, WWE can do one of two things. They can move Jimmy off that fucking angle and just keep it rolling, or they can just let this shit ride itself out, which I'm kind of leaning that I'm thinking that's what they're going to end up doing. They're going to let this shit play itself out, and Jimmy's going to be a part of this shit.
You know what? I'm not going to put this to tape. I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. I was joking about my friends with 7 or 8, but I do have friends with 3.
No, I know somebody that's got 7 or 8.
Oh, I don't know if I have somebody that has that many. I did have a, you know what? Never mind. I have, I'm not even going to tell you how many I have just because I don't want to jinx myself. You know what, Jason? We survived the rain.
I wasn't worried about it. To me, I was tripping off the fact that, this is the first broadcast that we've done in inclement weather. BFR 214, we can just put that little asterisk on that joker, rain or no rain, we keep this joker moving.
We made it through. Now it's kind of cool out here.
Yeah, right?
That's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
You guys know what that means, don't you? It's Thursday night. You know what that means.
Right.
It means it's time for me and Jason to do another shot. It means it's time for our Money in the Bank.
I got it. Go ahead.
Predictions. I wish Zach was here for that, but I hope he's having a good day with his boss.
No shit, dude.
I miss the guy. I'll be honest.
No,
I
was
miss
going
him.
to say the bad part about that is it's going to be like the first day, whether it's the first week or not. And now you have to deal with your boss on that first day. You're waiting, maybe
It's at a brewery, though, and Zach's pretty affable. You know how those guys are. They all beards.
Yeah, but I mean, but then he's like, I got to get to the podcast. Look, we got this, motherfucker. You know how we do it.
So this is Money in the Bank, the unofficial 5th major.
No, we had an argument about this a while ago. I guess it was in the Shock City days where you were saying that this should be the 4th.
Right, because Survivor Series is dead.
I totally disagree with that.
But it's just a regular-ass pay-per-view, though. They've been bringing it back the last couple of years.
Yeah.
The last couple of years have been good. That one we watched at John Jones's house was fucking legit great.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, well, you brought NXT in the mix.
Yeah. No, that was the one after. I'm talking about the one where Randy and Bray won. Speaking of Bray Wyatt, his ass is on a milk cart, ain't it?
Or is he?
To use your... I don't know what that means.
It's a good tease, my friend.
So here we go. We have 6 matches. We're going to save the Money in the Bank matches for last because there's 8 people in each match. And
the 8th woman has not been announced yet.
Right, and in BFR style, we go least to most. So... let's start off with the Viking Raiders versus AJ and Omos for the belts. I'll go first. You have to be pretty talented to have the pencil, so to speak, to be Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And to take a team as violent and as fucking badass and as fun to watch as War Machine.
Who's that? Who's War Machine?
And turn them into a borderline comedy act called the Viking Raiders. Or as I like to call them, the Colts Bills. I'm taking AJ and Omos. Who are you taking?
Oh, I got to piggyback on that. I agree. I'm taking the champs to retain. I will still look at AJ and Omos with such disdain because they will be the reminder that they are the reason the Hurt Business, being Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, broke up. They have their belts, and Cedric and Shelton have been basically MIA pretty much from that point on, minus a few skirmishes on Raw. Cedric just lost to, I wouldn't say just lost to, but Jeff Hardy put his career up against Cedric Alexander, and he lost that match. So, from that point, yeah, I'm always going to look at AJ and Omos with disdain, but they should retain the titles here. No.
AJ and Omos winning here is the lead pipe lock of the week.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way the Viking Raiders are winning.
No, I'll go this far. If the Viking Raiders win, I will come up on next week's podcast
and take a chop.
No, we can't take a chop. If you want to give me the chop, I'll take it.
I've taken the chop, so I feel like I can hand one out.
Okay.
If the Viking Raiders win, I can give you a chop.
If the Viking Raiders win, you can give me a chop. There you go. I was going to do something with, I'd have to say, like Yano's the greatest wrestler of all time. But if you want to give me a chop,
you have to say Yano's the greatest wrestler of all time while I'm giving you a chop.
Done. If the Viking Raiders win, done deal.
Ooh, that's fun. So next up we have for the Raw Women's Championship.
AJ and Omos better win.
There's no way they're not going
Yeah.
to. I mean, that really is a lock.
Yeah, it really should be, because Rated RK Bro should be on deck. And that's where...
Well, okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So we have Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship. I'll let you go first here.
This feud has been borderline unwatchable with Crutchamania. Shout out to Matt on Good Cop Bad Cop. He called it Crutchamania. That sounds about right. That's where it was starting to be really hard to watch. A part of me doesn't even care who wins. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a Charlotte guy, and a part of me doesn't even care who wins. On record, I'm going to go with still Rhea Ripley. I don't know why. Charlotte is probably going to end up winning this. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what WWE does. But I'm going with a little logic for 30 seconds. Rhea Ripley just won the title. Even though it's been months of bullshit booking and bullshit matches, she still just won the title. I'm going to say Rhea Ripley holds it for one more time, and then whoever wins the women's Money in the Bank, that's when we're going to have to start talking.
So anytime that Charlotte is fighting for the belt and she doesn't have the belt, I'm going to pick Charlotte Flair. It's just kind of my bettors mentality.
It's a 50-50 coin flip.
It's kind of like a home underdog in the first 8 weeks of the NFL. I'm just going to take him
And the sad part about this is he says this all the time, and the first 8 weeks, the home underdog.
I win like 75%.
Yeah, the home underdog wins.
And then I lose it all in the NBA in the summertime.
Stop fucking with the Bucks, man. Leave them jokers alone.
I stopped betting on the NBA.
Okay, perfect.
I was like, I have no idea what's happening from night to night.
No,
this is stupid.
Not anymore. It's basically
it's more fun to watch with no money on it.
Yeah. Well, you should.
You don't have to tell me that.
Well, you should, young man.
Thank you. I know. I have a child on the way.
You steal my thunder. God, it makes me feel good to be the old wise sage that has no kind of like not even relevancy, but just no chips in the middle. Just like, look, man.
Old wise sage. 1 out of 3 ain't bad. We got Roman Reigns versus Edge.
Fuck you.
Roman Reigns versus Edge. No steps. This is for the belt.
It'll be interesting to see where this. I'll go first. It'll be interesting to see where this lies on the card, because we don't know. I would assume it's the main event. But even if it's the main event, that doesn't necessarily mean there's not a cash-in that could happen. All that being said, I still expect Roman Reigns to retain. I expect a banger-ass match. I expect a little fuckery from, if not at least Jay, but both Jimmy and Jey Uso. We'll see what happens on Friday Night SmackDown. But ultimately, this just goes back to what I've said before. Roman should not be losing the title for at least a calendar year. I'm picking Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm picking Roman Reigns. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Rollins came down and cost Edge the match somehow.
That's why I was saying it depends on where this falls on the card.
That actually kind of intrigues me more about the next match. But before we get there, Roman Reigns versus Edge. So the WrestleMania main event, which was Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. I was in love with that match. I think that you were too.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that we both marked out at the end of a match in the same room together, which doesn't happen very often, because Roman stacked them on top of each other
and got the pin.
And got the pin on both of them.
And that to me
now,
is...
Edge has come back and said...
Beat for Mark of the moment. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Edge has come back and said, I had you beat a couple times and Daniel Bryan wouldn't have broken up, which is kayfabe style. Very true. Very logical.
Yeah. And
sure.
True, logical. You can go back and see it.
Yes, you can. It makes sense. That being said, there's no reason that Edge should win this. Edge should be there to put guys over. That is Edge's job now. He is I'm not saying he's a legend. I'm saying he's better than a legend.
He's a legend at this point.
No, but when you say legend, it almost implies that they can't do as much as they used to be able to do.
Okay, no,
Edge can still wrestle at a high level.
Yeah, for sure.
He can put on great matches.
Yeah, we already seen it.
Yeah, we'll talk about his partner Christian when we talk about AEW, which we're still putting off because we're hoping for Zack to call, but we don't know how much longer we're going to be able to wait. But I think there's no way that Roman Reigns doesn't win.
I would be stunned. The only way that Edge would win is then the cash-in is in play. And there Seth Rollins is on deck.
That brings us to our next match, which is Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston. Bobby Lashley cuts the promo of his life Monday night.
This bullshit's got to stop.
It was the only bright spot of Raw, and I forgot to do the section where I talk about all the things we're not going to talk about from Raw because Raw was terrible. But Bobby Lashley's promo at the end of it was great. No, we're not going to talk about McIntyre and Jinder and the sword and the bike. We're not going to talk about Nikki Ash.
No.
Talking about AJ versus Ivar. Not talking about Omos
Ricochet?
Ricochet Morrison was good. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about
it. We mentioned it. That's all we're to do at this point.
Until that promo, I thought that Kofi didn't have a chance. And after that promo, it makes me think that we're headed towards... It makes me think we're headed towards Lashley and Brock Lesnar. There was a picture of Brock Lesnar that went out this week that they say was leaked. You know, shit like that gets leaked.
Quote unquote.
Because he's got long hair and a beard.
Right.
And he looks like a fucking wild man. He looks scarier than he's ever looked. Oh, wait. I said that wrong. I thought Kofi... Now I think Kofi has no chance.
Right.
I think it's Lashley wins.
Right.
Lashley destroys Kofi. And then faces Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. The only thing that could happen that would be cooler than that is if Brock Lesnar breaks up or ruins it for Lashley, Kofi goes over Lashley, and then Big E, who's won the Money in the Bank, comes in and pins Kofi.
Nigga, you ain't right.
Now, have you considered that?
No, you see me over here.
I know, it looks like you're in pain.
I'm like, God.
Wouldn't that be badass though? Tell me how badass it would be.
Holy
I told you.
Shit.
Give me the pencil.
Damn.
That being said, I'm taking Lashley.
I'm taking Lashley too.
I'm just doing some fancy booking.
No, that's well, but I mean, all bullshit aside, and we're getting ready to creep into that here in 30 seconds. Big E is one of those guys that could win the Money in the Bank if Kofi beat
one of two, if you ask me.
One of two. Three. If Kofi beat Bobby Lashley, then you have that natural matchup where now you can go a bunch of different ways with it. I don't think we're going that way. I love what you just said right there, because I'm just like, man, I'm over here just like, man, we can make Big E the heel. We can do all kinds of crazy shit. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen.
A couple things about that, though. Like, it's, first of all, Vince has proven in the past that he wants the biggest rivalry, the biggest match at the show to have the belt on it ever since Cena left. Like, it was Lesnar and fucking Goldberg and shit. Where that it could have
the only
easily
one
been
I
a
can think of is the and I'm not even saying it because I was there. The WrestleMania, Taker versus HBK, Streak versus
Arizona.
Career. Okay, I think that was 26.
26, yeah.
Okay, that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that the title wasn't on the line for the main event.
Well, Rock Cena, both years, right?
title on the line.
The Rock won the title?
Yeah.
No, I think CM Punk fought Jericho for the title, right?
Rock beat Punk at that year's Royal Rumble.
That's right.
Retained against Cena at said WrestleMania, and then they ran it back the year later. They ran it back the year later, and then Cena beat Rock in New York. When Rock retained, that was in Miami. And there's no way in the world you can have The Rock lose the title in Miami and and have John Cena get out in one piece. Ain't no way.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay. I've been wrong before.
Once or twice.
Okay. So let's go with the women's first.
Okay.
So we have Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Ash, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, Natty, and TBD. I'll go first.
Okay.
First of all, I think there's 0% chance that Natty wins.
Damn. I like her sister, though.
I don't know what that means. I'm going to take Naomi second to last.
You know what that means.
I like all their sisters, man.
No.
So who do you think TBD is going to be? Becky Lynch.
That's the biggest one that is
call
out
the
there.
Scuttlebutt?
It's totally the scuttlebutt. I just think that, and I've never had a woman come back from pregnancy. I've had sisters being pregnant, but I've seen them bounce back. I'll just say this. This does not seem like the time for Becky Lynch to come back and then disappear. Sonya Deville.
Could it be Toni Storm?
Sonya Deville, it could be, but Sonya Deville makes the most sense because she's been cock blocking Liv Morgan this whole time. If you're going to press me on it, that's my 8th pick is Sonya Deville. She puts herself in.
Okay, so here
Becky Lynch doesn't need to put herself in.
Here's my least to most. We got Natty.
Who you have the 8th pick? Why, you're fucking with me?
Oh, I just put TBD. I don't care who it is. They're second.
Oh, you motherfucker.
I think it's probably Sasha Banks.
So you hedging your bets.
No, I think it's probably Sasha Banks. You could pick TBD too.
No. You asked me who I thought TBD was, and I gave you the answer.
I think it's Sasha Banks.
Okay, so then put Sasha Banks down there and stop being a punk.
No, I'm putting TBD. You can have TBD too.
No, I'll put Sack on table. Okay, Sack on table is Sonya Deville.
I can't believe you just talked me into this.
Because I can Jedi mind trick your ass easily. Otherwise, you keep TBD.
Get the fuck out of my house. Who you got 8th?
No, you haven't finished, motherfucker.
Yeah, I did. I went Natty, Naomi, Zelina Vega 6, Alexa Bliss 5. Those are all nuns. No way.
Okay.
Asuka 4, Nikki Ash 3, because I think that could be fun with her new thing, or I think they would think it was fun.
Right.
Sasha Banks is 2, and Liv Morgan is 1.
Interesting. Okay. Let's go Naomi at 8, just because I agree with you. Natty is my Naomi in this scenario. You can go Naomi at 7, same scenario.
You mean Natty at 7?
Naomi is in the
You got Naomi at 8.
Same thing. It doesn't matter. Neither one of them are going to win.
Well, I'm not putting Naomi at 8 and 7.
Naomi at 8.
Yeah.
Natty at 7.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now, from that point, shit.
Gets a little tougher.
Not really. Nikki Ash at 6. I think everybody's taking this more than what it is.
She gets a lot of TV time.
Everybody gets a lot of TV time.
Keep going. No, that's not true.
Asuka at 5. I think Asuka doesn't necessarily need to even be in this mix, and you can plug her in at any point.
She seems a little above it.
Exactly. I'm going to go Sonya Deville at 3, or at 4, I'm sorry. I think she's going to have something to do with this, but I don't think that it's going to be the end-all to be-all. At that point, we're going to link her with Liv Morgan at 3, because I think one of the other eliminates the other The one that gets eliminated eliminates the other one. So that basically
I just
they cancel
realized the last two you
out.
have left. I just realized the last two you have left. You're insane.
Am I?
Yeah, you are. So give it to me. Who's your number 2?
No, we'll just go with number 1. To me, if you're going to put all this time into Alexa Bliss needs to win. Okay, I don't care how you want to slice her. Last year, Asuka didn't get touched, and she won the Money in the Bank. Granted, the next night, Becky Lynch came out and basically gifted her the title.
Fine.
So I don't care.
I can buy that. I can buy that because she gets so much TV time.
I'm just saying.
But where's the Zelina Vega coming in at 2?
I didn't say Zelina Vega. Sonya Deville was my pick.
You had Sonya Deville at 4.
Okay.
And then 3 was Liv.
Right.
And then we skipped 2.
Okay.
So Zelina Vega?
You can put her at 2. I don't care. Honestly, I don't think she's going to win.
Hey, DJ, turn that music back on.
I don't think she's honestly going to win. But at the end of the day, to me, Alexa Bliss is the one that you put this most time in. You basically kind of destroyed WrestleMania off the jump for this angle.
Okay.
And now you ran poor little
Bray Wyatt?
No, not even Bray Wyatt, but not Sonya Deville, but
Mandy Rose?
Shayna Baszler. Okay, you just ran that poor girl off into the sunset. You don't even know where she is. Nia Jax not even in this motherfucking mix anymore. To me, it's not even the fact that Alexa Bliss is the best wrestler. She gives you the most flexibility, the most options. If you wanted to do a SmackDown champion and go have Alexa Bliss go over there, you could tease it with Bianca Belair. If you wanted to do it Raw versus Raw, you can keep it with whoever the champion is. In this case, for me, it's Rhea Ripley. You can have her chase Rhea Ripley around. Alexa Bliss gives you the most options. You put the time in. Now give her the belt. Let's see what happens. I'll give her the briefcase. Let's see what happens.
All right. So I have Liv. You have Alexa Bliss. So for the men's, we have Ricochet, John Morrison, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Seth Rollins. Now, this is a loaded Money in the Bank. This is a Money in the Bank where you could probably make a case for 6 of the 8 pretty easily.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. You want me to go first? Do you want me to start with the ones that you can't make a case for?
Please.
Ricochet's not going to win it.
No.
They don't take him seriously.
No.
He is there as
the Kofi Kingston of the Money in the Bank 2021.
I was going to say something a lot meaner, but yes, that is what.
No, please say what you were going to say.
I mean, he's like in the Gladiator years, like when they would send the weak soldiers out first just to get fucking slaughtered. Like he's there to entertain the crowd. That's it. He's there to entertain the crowd. Oh, that's it.
So fucked up, but so true, all in the same.
Now, him and Morrison had a really great match the other night on Raw.
8-7. I would agree with
but
that. That's
I'm gonna
both 8-7.
It's almost like they gave him that just so, like, hey, here's a good match on TV. Now go get your fucking ass whooped.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, here's your check on Sunday night.
Next one that I have, number 6, is Shinsuke Nakamura. I just don't see them putting the Money in the Bank on Shinsuke Nakamura. He is firmly placed at the place in the card that he's going to be for a while. They can elevate him later if shit happens, but he's my number 6.
I'll let you go ahead and finish, but...
Can I finish?
Yeah.
Can I finish?
Yeah.
Okay, this gets a little tougher here.
A little bit.
I'm going to go Seth Rollins next. I'm going to say Seth Rollins is next, but I could totally see him winning it, which shows how competitive and how stacked this match is. Seth Rollins has so many avenues, like you said, to the main event that winning the Money in the Bank is not necessarily the one. But they have fucked up the Money in the Bank the last couple of years with Brock Lesnar and Otis. I'm just going to move on before I think about this too much. McIntyre's number 4 just doesn't feel right. it would be really boring if he won. Like, it would suck if he won. I'm going to go Kevin Owens third. I don't know why. I love him.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go Big E 2, and I'm going to go Riddle 1. I'm taking Riddle. It seems pretty obvious at this point, to be honest, if I'm being honest.
And I expect you to should be. So we agree with 8 and 7 in no particular order. Morrison and Ricochet. You can put either or in that spot. I don't care what you do. 6, I'm going to go KO. I know that's your boy. I love KO. I can't really see a scenario. He's done the Roman Reigns thing before. I can't see him getting the briefcase and then losing to Roman Reigns again. Man. Who do I have left?
You have Rollins, McIntyre, Big E, Riddle, and Nakamura.
Let's go Nakamura 5. I agree with you. He's King Nakamura. No, really.
He's entrenched.
Yeah, he's entrenched as Nakamura. Fuck, man. Shit. Let's go 4 with Seth Rollins. I can see it happening, but I don't. Like I said, I just don't think he needs it. The Shield connection is more than enough. He's Seth Rollins. He's got the greatest cash in and Money in the Bank history. What more do you need at that point?
One of my favorite WrestleMania matches of the last 15 years.
Yeah. Riddle.
You got Riddle, Big E, and McIntyre.
Okay. Jesus Christ. I'm going to go Riddle 3. I'm going to go Riddle 3. If Riddle wins, then I can see Randy Orton taken away from him and him being the Money in the Bank winner, but that's
or I can see Randy Orton RKOing Riddle in the middle of the match to make Riddle lose.
Right. Riddle just seems too, I won't say easy, but Randy Orton has been gone for a while, so that's why I'm not going to say he's going to win. So you have Drew McIntyre and Big E. Man. I don't want Drew McIntyre to win it because he doesn't deserve to win. I shouldn't say he doesn't deserve to win it, but he doesn't need to win it. He's been the Raw champion. Yeah,
He's already a main eventer.
Exactly.
Money in the Bank is not supposed to be for a main eventer.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be for a mid-card guy that you can see winning the belt.
And that's why I don't think that's what they don't do it. I'm going to go Big E 2. I'm going to go Drew McIntyre in a very unoriginal but reasonable prediction. Drew McIntyre winning the Money in the Bank. He goes over to SmackDown and holds it over Roman Reigns until next year's WrestleMania.
I think that I like your picks better than mine. I'll pay you $2 to flip them.
Nobody's going to get ready to say, we got a bet out there. Let's see what happens first, and then we can talk about that after the fact.
All right.
This is banned from ringside.
Okay, so our odds and ends.
AEW is basically the odds and ends.
We waited as long as we could for Zach.
Sorry, Zach. I love you.
We tried.
Yeah. God bless you. I can't imagine going across the fucking nation and have to deal with, us waiting for you. Come on, man.
I can't believe he expects us to. I mean, it takes a lot of balls. It takes balls the size of my balls.
Yeah, to
expect us to.
You know what? As a star of the show, I'm sure he was basically expecting us.
Well,
to
you gotta leave him wanting more.
Yeah,
people are gonna be excited when he comes back.
You and I are always here. Two Beer is we're that guy.
Yeah,
we're spoiling them.
Steady as she goes.
We're spoiling them, just reeling them in.
So our odds and ends, and if you're still hanging out, we appreciate it. We're going to talk about AEW, which was a good show. It started off with a New Japan match for the IWGP US title, which was Jon Moxley versus Kurt Anderson.
No, Carl Anderson.
Carl Anderson, sorry. I know a guy named Kurt Anderson. What did you think about this match?
It was interesting just in the fact that this was first, to me, where you saw Moxley coming back from injury or whatever. It was the first time he came back to a crowd, well, not even to a crowd, but a crowd coming back from injury. He just immediately went into the stands and got the crowd hyped, and that's a great way to get a curtain jerker going. You know what I'm saying? That's what curtain jerkers are supposed to be. You get the crowd into it and invest it. From that point, I thought the match was good. I always said I wish I would have seen more of Carl Anderson as a singles guy, especially when they highlighted the fact that he was a G1 finalist moving forward. If you know BFR as a podcast, you know we love us some NJPW. We
love the G1 especially.
And the G1 is basically one of the...
It's the actual WrestleMania.
They put it over as a round-robin, month-long tournament, grueling, yada, yada, yada. So at that point... you gave Carl Anderson his props. You have Jon Moxley with, 500 days as the New Japan champion. Regardless of pandemic or not, that's just is what it is. So you have that shit walking into it. I thought they did the match very well. You had enough false finishes to where you thought that maybe Carl Anderson could win.
It was never. It was
really, to me, it was really about Moxley getting it over, and then you had Lance Archer come out and throw down the gauntlet for next week's Texas Death Match for the IWGP Championship, U.S. Championship. Moxley versus Lance Archer, Part 2. Texas Death Match. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how this bad boy is booked. I said already, if Lance Archer doesn't win this, then there's a serious problem with what AEW is doing. Lance Archer is one of those guys where his size basically leaps off the screen. What he does in ring kind of leaps off the screen. Moxley is not, he doesn't need to have the U.S. Championship anymore.
Let me tell you this. When you're at this level of high, it is up to me to stop you, because otherwise you will do the entire podcast by yourself.
I wouldn't do an entire podcast by myself.
You would do the next hour by yourself.
No, 5-10 minutes tops.
45 minutes?
5-10 minutes.
5 plus 10, 15 minutes?
7. I'll meet you in the middle.
I would like to see Lance Archer versus Jon Moxley again. I don't think there's any way Lance Archer goes over. I think Jon Moxley goes over.
Are you out your goddamn mind?
I don't think they're going to have Jon Moxley lose for a long time. Not
it's
just
been
because
over 500. Okay,
not just because of IWGP, because of AEW, and they want Moxley to have a belt.
Moxley doesn't need a belt.
Yeah, but they like Moxley to have a belt because that dude is still the most over babyface on the planet for 2 years running.
He needs a belt because
why would IWGP not want the most famous babyface on the planet to have their U.S. title? AEW's not booking that shit. It's fucking Gato. Gato's booking it. Why would he not want Jon Moxley to have that belt? I'm right.
You make a point. No, you make a point. I mean, you make a point.
Thank you.
I will say this.
You were thinking about it from the AEW side. I'm talking about from the NJPW side.
I'll say this. If you bring Lance Archer over and you don't have him win a mid-card championship, when Jon Moxley at any given point can go into this forbidden door that we have open and challenge for any of the major championships, any place, anytime,
you're arguing.
That to me is a problem. No, I said it last night on Twitter before we even got here. I don't care what the fuck
you said on Twitter. All those fucking nerds out there listening to your Twitter. I'm talking to you.
I'm saying it right now. This is why people that have a problem with AEW have a problem with AEW. Lance Archer shouldn't be like in the quagmire of what should Lance Archer do. He should have a title before Jon Moxley does. Why? Because Jon Moxley could take a title from anybody, any place, anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
he's that damn over.
If the only people watching were people like me and you. But they also want to grab casual watchers who want to see a guy like Jon Moxley with the belt. Listen, we're not going to spend the next hour.
Lance Archer doesn't just jump off the screen?
Not for Gato. I mean, come on.
You said for a casual fan. Who would you be like, oh shit, who's that motherfucker? Lance Archer or Jon Moxley?
Okay, fine, let's talk about it. NJPW, when the pandemic started, NJPW Strong, which is an American show, was almost non-existent, right?
Agreed.
And since the pandemic started, because creativity sometimes needs guardrails, NJPW Strong all of a sudden started becoming a pretty good show. And now they're selling out 2,000, 3,000 seat places, 6,000 seat places in Texas, I think. I think they're in Texas.
Sounds right. I can't remember where Emergence it is.
My point is NJPW is still trying to grab a foothold in America. They haven't given up that dream just because they failed a few years ago. They're still trying to grab that foothold. And what better foothold in America to have than the most over babyface hold your U.S. title? What they need to stop doing is bringing over all these old legend acts and having them fight Jon Moxley at AEW Dynamite.
That's fair.
And bring over it doesn't even have to be Okada or anything. Bring over Ishii. Pay that man. And let's see Moxley versus Ishii, because I'll tell you what, I'd watch the fuck out of that match.
I agree with that. Okay, I agree with that. Here's the flip side of it.
God damn, I'm full of really good ideas tonight.
You are. That's what I say. This is like BFR 214. Bill has great ideas, and we do it through the rain. I'll just say it like this.
Maybe it was the rain.
Maybe it was. It cleansed you.
Watch out for my wife. I'm going to smoke.
Stop.
I'm going to smoke.
I'll say this.
Keep an eye out.
Oh, you're smoking a cigarette. Okay.
Yes. What do you think I'm talking about?
There's 2 or 3 things we could be smoking out here. I'll just say this.
We snort the meth.
True story. I'll just say this. I like the fact that you have the Texas Death Match as the step because, we've done this before. I just really, really think that Lance Archer kind of needs that push a little more. It's not even the fact that Moxley... Yeah, you can have Moxley hold the title, but then what? You know what I'm saying? Kenta was the biggest thing that happened to Jon Moxley with the U.S. title since that Texas Death Match. The pandemic happened. It is what it is. But then when Kenta and Moxley started happening, we started to kind of gravitate to it. It wasn't the fact that it was just Moxley, but it was Kenta and Moxley. So in this same scenario, I think it's Lance Archer and Moxley. You add the Texas Death Match on it. This is a great time for a rub and do it the right way.
They are promotions that are trying to make more money. The next match, which is Lance Archer versus whoever, is not going to make as much money as Moxley versus whoever. There is 0 chance Lance Archer wins this. You want to bet another chop?
Then, okay, it's not even a chop. We can't do the chop, but we already have my bet going. We can double down on that to where you have to say, oh, who do you hate the most? New Day is an easy bet. That's not even fun anymore.
That's not even who I hate the most.
I
mean, it used to be Reigns.
Yeah, right.
It used to be Cena.
Otis has flipped heels, so we can't even do Otis anymore.
I do hate Sting.
So,
every time I praise Sting, it is so reluctantly, it's almost impossible to imagine that, I can't even, I have to hold my nose while I do it.
Okay, so there you go. We're going to go with Sting as your prop bet.
Okay, I will wear Sting makeup while bartending.
That ain't going to happen. No, we got to do it on the pod. We got to do it on the pod where anytime that Sting's name is mentioned, you have to compliment Sting in some form or fashion.
For how long?
The podcast.
The whole podcast.
The whole
podcast. Just one podcast?
One podcast.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to make this hard.
I can do it right now.
Yeah. No, we don't know what's going to happen.
Sting doesn't look like a total idiot. Sting isn't terrible on the mic.
No.
Sting is very young.
It's got to be like actually authentic and.
Sting is very young. He's very good looking.
Stop.
He is very smart, and I am very dumb.
Yeah, something more so is at that point versus the former. But go ahead.
Fine, you're on.
Done.
Then we have Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks wins in a short amount of time with the help of Team Taz. I think they wanted this to feel like a swerve, that Team Taz went towards Ricky Starks' side. It didn't really feel like a swerve to me.
I thought it swerved me in the sense that where Powerhouse Hobbs kind of takes the belt away from Ricky Starks, and then 30 seconds later, Powerhouse Hobbs actually hits Brian Cage with it. I was swerved. I'm not even going to lie. I was swerved. I liked seeing that swerve. It's not like the FTW title means anything. It's good for Ricky Starks to have it. It
doesn't, but neither does the $1 million title. It's fun to see guys fight over something.
It's good for Ricky Starks to have it.
It can be anything in the middle.
But ultimately, Brian Cage is a scenario where this is the like turning point to where you can justify him turning babyface, and now you have a whole nother ledger of guys for Brian Cage to face, Ricky Starks being included, and then Ricky Starks can kind of go with the FTW title and do whatever he wants to do with that. I was swerved. I am not going to lie.
All right. Cody comes out all pissed off because Malachi Black gave the black mass to Arn Anderson.
And Cody.
Arn and Cody, but Cody was more mad about him doing Arn.
Arn, yeah. Okay, here's my problem with the opening part of the segment. Cody comes out, is like, apparently I can't get my point across. Dude, if you're not the boss or you're not close to the bosses, come on, man. You can come in and just grab the mic, and you didn't have to go to commentary. You can just grab a mic from commentary or whoever it is, get in the ring like you normally do.
Again, Cody is the star.
Okay,
people love Cody.
But
as a smark, just like you, I'm
not a smark. I'm not a smark.
Yeah, you are. You're a smart mark.
No, I'm not.
That's all it means. Anyway.
I'll push back on that.
The thing that I'm just sick of Cody as a babyface, and when Aleister Black comes in and the place goes nuts again, and Aleister Black gives that little smile, and then they fight for a little bit, that's perfect. I thought it was a perfect segment.
I kind of wish they didn't even touch, but I'll just say this. The only thing I don't like about the Cody Rhodes position is that everybody that it feels like everybody, and I think you said this, everybody that comes in new has to cross paths with Cody Rhodes, for lack of a better term, first, and then you move on.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. I mean, all the real big ones.
Right.
Next was the Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Don Callis segment. So I'm going to say, I don't know if it was last week or 2 weeks ago where I said that it was a AEW that I had no problem with. I think it was last week. I basically had no problem with this AEW either, Dynamite. I thought that this Dynamite was pretty much perfect, and this was my favorite segment, was Adam Page coming out there and then talking his shit.
Page started first.
And this might be because the audiences are back. But the audience is chanting cowboy shit, cowboy shit. Kenny Omega reacting to that, and then they just kept chanting it. It was such a money segment, and Adam Page felt like the biggest babyface in the world, and Kenny Omega was such a shit heel where he goes, I want those cowboy shit chants to turn into Belt collector. And then he realized when he said it was like the stupidest thing he's ever said. And I fucking loved it. And, of course, these guys are going to put on a great match. That has never been in doubt. That was, are they going to tell a good story getting to it? Now, I wish the Dark Order wasn't involved. I wish Adam Page wasn't part of the Dark Order. But working with what we have, I thought this was an A+ segment.
No, it was done to the point where it did multiple things on one front. Bucks get a new contender if, the baby faces win. Most importantly, obviously, Kenny Omega will have to face Paige if they win. The fear of failure is that one part that I kind of took away from it because they kind of danced around it. But then when Kenny Omega had Adam Page in the ring, he was like, you're scared to fail. You're scared to fail. And that to me is a big thing. As much as we talk about, Ben Simmons, great example. Okay? Look, man, at some point you got to shoot a free throw. And Kenny Omega is going to have to Adam Page is going to have to deal with Kenny Omega at some point. You might not have to want to do it, but you're going to have to do it. He came out strong, and that's the way he should have done it. But then Kenny Omega came right back out and just planted that little seed of doubt back in his head.
So I know you're not a big fan of the 5-on-5, but it looks like that's going to be next week at Fyter Fest Night 2.
I won't say that. My knee-jerk reaction is because I just want to get to the Omega Page title match, be done with it.
You're getting edged.
No, I tweeted it as it happened immediately.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, man, fuck this shit. But then once they broke it down, I was like, okay, now this makes sense. Bucks get a title match, Kenny Omega, and you get Page. And then from that point, like I said, and I'm starting to I'm going to lean into this a little bit more. I will not be surprised if that title match, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, ends in a draw. Because it's the best way you can keep Omega with the title. You can keep Adam Page strong on the heels. He'll still be the number one contender.
And
you can do it the right way.
Speaking of draws, the next segment was Matt Hardy versus Christian, and they fought for a long time, and JR and Excalibur were bringing up the draw.
Okay.
They were saying, and I thought, man, they're bringing up the draw a lot. Like maybe this is going to end in a draw, which I would have been fine with. It turns out Christian ends up going over Matt Hardy, strong, clean.
Yeah.
I liked this match. I knew that I would like this match. I know that Murray, man, thinks that I don't like Christian and Matt Hardy. Truth is, I like them both a whole lot.
Right.
It was just not the match.
You don't want to see this match.
Didn't want to see the match. The match was good.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. I'll just say this, and a lot of people have tweeted me about the end of this match where Jungle Boy is kind of looking at Christian, and maybe there's dissension where Jungle Boy could possibly flip on Christian. I guess that's where we're going with this. A couple of people have tweeted me on this. I'll go this far. I would be totally fucking stunned if Jungle Boy goes heel. You have not gone this far down the road where now Jungle Boy is jealous of Christian.
It makes way more sense for Christian to go heel.
Exactly. So that's why I'm thinking everybody kind of needs to step back. Dark Elevation kind of, I think, teased it, but maybe that was just me in my head. I just don't think that Jungle Boy is flipping heel anytime soon.
I'm going to continue to pretend that Dark Elevation is a show that doesn't exist because I don't watch it. Nyla Rose, Britt Baker.
No, I'm not going to wave that off. The
I know you're not.
Britt Baker.
Go ahead. Do 2 minutes on it. I got
Britt Baker needs to be a defined character in some form or fashion. It felt like there was a babyface promo, for lack of a better term, in the last couple of weeks. Britt Baker, I get it. I was excited that Britt Baker won the title, but then it's now what? Britt Baker is a heel. Okay, so Reba/Rebel is not next to her, but that doesn't make her any less of a heel. You can still have her be heelish versus another heel being a Nyla Rose. She kind of ran down Vicky Guerrero, so be it. But to me, that segment on AEW last night, or I'm sorry, 2 nights ago, felt like more of a babyface promo versus a heel promo. At the end of the day, I'll just say this. Britt Baker needs to be the champion, but let's not make this any harder than what it is. She's a heel, like Charlotte is a heel. Don't make it harder than what it really is, okay? Keep to the core. When you made her a babyface, when she came in as a babyface, it didn't work. Everybody, booed her basically out of the building. Now you have her as a heel, and it kind of feels like it's a gray area. What do we do with Britt Baker? You just keep her as a fucking heel. Next week she'll challenge, she'll face Nyla Rose. She should beat Nyla Rose, but in the fact that she's beaten Nyla Rose, she needs to cheat from start to finish to keep that heel persona strong.
Okay.
So that way, when Thunder Rosa comes around, when Sheeta comes around, she's the established heel.
Ask me what I think of it.
What do you think of it?
Next question. Moxley cuts a promo. Then we have Wheeler Yuta versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara goes over.
In quick fashion.
Wheeler Yuta looks good. I guess he hangs out with the best friends.
No, I'll just say this. Wheeler Yuta is indie-related, ROH, MLW, New Japan Strong.
All right.
It was a chance to... I was disappointed in the fact that it was a chance for those that don't know Wheeler Yuta to get to know him, and they just basically kind of breeze by it. It is what it is.
Couple things about this match, real quick. It said walking out that Sammy Guevara was 2-1 in 2021. So Sammy Guevara has only had, and I'm sorry, I don't have any Hispanic friends or family. So if I say Guevara fucked up, Guevara, I've watched Young Guns 2 a couple times. Like, I have a heart. I've seen
Young Guns 2.
I've seen Desperado with Antonio Banderas.
Young Guns 2 was horrible.
No.
In comparison to the original?
Oh, no. That's wrong. That's a bad take. Young Guns 2 is really fucking good. They added Christian Slater, Arkansas Dave Rudabaugh. The only time my sexuality has ever been questioned is when I was 13 and I watched that movie. I was like, man, Christian Slater looks good.
And you know why I don't like Christian Slater? He's because
he looks too good. Because he makes you question your sexuality.
No, I got good people, good looking people around me all the time. I don't like snakes in my motherfucking camp. You need to cut. He was a dirty motherfucker from the jump, and they couldn't tell that he was dirty, and he was a part of the reason why the whole thing went south at the very end.
Are we still talking about Young Guns 2?
Yeah.
No, he's the hero, as far as I'm concerned. Billy the Kid was a bad guy. Turn against that motherfucker. Fuck him.
Fuck that.
What were we talking about? Oh, Sammy Guevara. He's 2-1 in 2021. I thought that was strange. I thought that he would have a lot more singles matches. The other thing after this match, after Sammy Guevara won, as a guy who has done uppers many times, and I'm talking about Adderall, Coke, other things.
I was about to say, you already threw that out there. Yeah, I was about to say, I've done ecstasy too.
That's not 41. It's been a long time since I've done any of them. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
But
well, I'll say no wink, wink here. I haven't done ecstasy. God knows how long.
I'll say this though, I can tell when a guy is on something. And Guevara got done with that match, and he faced the hard camera, and he was like pumping himself up while the referee held up, and that dude was on something.
You really think so?
There is 0% doubt in my mind. That's the Stone Cold Lead Pipe of the week. That Sammy Guevara.
Okay. Oh, no.
He was on Adderall or Coke. I'm not saying he was on ecstasy. It would have been a way different match. I'm saying he was on Adderall or Coke or some kind of upper. Maybe he was on Yellow Jackets.
Okay, so we have two Stone Cold Locks out there. which one is the one you want to put?
Well, how are we going to find out if Sammy Guevara was on Adderall?
Okay, look, I'm just saying. I mean,
I'm telling you, it's not even a question. Like, it's not even a bet.
You really think so?
Dude,
okay, fine. I will defer
he
to
was just he
the
was
authority of Adderall between the two.
You know how you can tell when somebody's on cocaine or Adderall?
Because you've done it before.
They're only breathing out. He's going, and he's just chewing his face off, and his jaw's going back and forth. Trust me, I can tell. From my younger days.
Okay.
Of course.
Maybe,
not when I go to fish
no,
every year.
I was going to say, maybe that's a part of the reason why it was a short match. I would just say this.
It was a quick match.
You're right. I would totally disagree.
If you watch it in halftime, it's like a really normal 10-minute match.
And that's kind of the reason why, and I tweeted, I was just like, well, damn, thanks for coming out, Weeder Ewer. It's a good thing that I know you from other places. Otherwise, to me, that was a chance to get him over, and it didn't get him over on Dynamite.
Here's the thing. If for some reason this gets aggregated, where it gets back to Sammy Guevara, that I'm calling him out on doing Adderall or Coke or something, I'm not blaming you, dude. It's a fun drug. And what are you, like 23? Like, fucking do your thing. I would do it, too, if I had to go on national TV.
Yeah.
Fuck. Trust me, I would do it, too, if I didn't have to go on national TV.
I did it, and I didn't go on national TV.
I'm just saying, I can tell when a dude is speeded up, and that dude was speeded
all right,
up.
Look, okay, fair enough. I will defer to you.
QT Marshall pours some hot chocolate over
I was going to go with a protein shake, but that's okay.
Whatever.
Cheap heel heat.
Cheap heel heat. It was fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try to get this name right. Watch this. You ready? Yuka Kazazaki versus Penelope Ford. Yuka Kazazaki goes over. Pretty decent match. I like Penelope Ford a lot. Actually.
Yeah, and I guess this is, and I kind of said this earlier in the pod, and this is specifically AEW, where it's like, I was watching Dark Elevation. They were like, Colton Gunn is undefeated in 2021. He's 21-0. And I was like, what the fuck? He's 21-0 in okay. And don't get me wrong. I don't even know
what you're talking about.
It's like Billy Gunn's youngest son.
Second son?
Billy, and then there's the middle. That's his first son.
Yeah, and then there's another one?
No, it's he has two sons. Billy, the one I really can't stand, the one you see on.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The one that you're talking about is his second son.
Is his first son, and then there's the second son, Colton, is the one I'm talking about.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay. 21-0.
Did you do coke tonight?
No, I wish I would have.
Did you do ecstasy?
Jesus. I wouldn't have drove over here if I did that.
Did you do marijuana?
All the time. It's like, check on that hard box.
Somebody fought Colton Gunn. His name is Colton Gunn.
Colton Gunn is the youngest son of Billy Gunn, obviously. Okay, so
I should cut out the last 90 seconds. I'm sorry, listeners.
Colton Gunn apparently is 21-0 in AEW for the year. Okay, that to me was like, what the fuck is the problem with this, first and foremost? And secondly, just jumping back to this, I mean...
He should be the number one contender.
Okay, another story for the time. That's why I was just kind of like, at the end of the day, I have a whole problem with the ranking system itself. I mean, the match was fine, but I look back on this AEW Dark Elevation point where it's not about that match. I'm tripping off of.
You cross the streams. Now you're thinking about Dark Elevation and you're thinking about Dynamite. I'm trying to talk about Dynamite.
If I would have never watched it, then I would have probably never gone that path. But I watch it, and then when you said it, I'm just like,
rewatch The Wire or something, man. Like, you don't have to watch wrestling all the time.
Loki's on deck. Okay.
Fuck Loki. Okay, so we have Darby Allin versus Ethan Page in a coffin match.
kind of like I said beforehand, this
was exactly what I expected.
Well, you expected that Darby would win, but how do we get to that win? The build was good. Not great. It was good. The match was a bunch of great spots.
It was really short. The build was really
short because it was like 2 weeks.
Right.
But then now how do you overcome that? Now you have to have a match with, to me in this scenario,
they told a pretty good story beforehand. I wish it would have been a longer feud.
Right. And that's where...
If everything is true, kayfabe style, then Ethan Page versus Darby Allin in the coffin match should be a big deal. But it's like it
didn't feel like a big deal.
They just shoved it in at the very end.
Right.
Now, it was a good match for walking around the stadium.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan, but when Ethan Page stretched his ass out on the guardrails,
yeah,
that was exciting.
When Darby jumped off, that was hot.
Yeah.
When Ethan Page did the Ethan's Edge onto the steps.
Yes.
I mean, that's got to be a little precision.
All good.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there were really good parts about the match. So, in that scenario, I'm not mad about the ending because you knew who was going to win. It was a good way to get from point A to point B. Now, from there, it's not even about
there was
Darby and Sting to now it's about the Men of the Year. What's up with that? Where do we go?
Yes, and also the coffin drop
after the fact
into the coffin had a bad camera angle. It seems like this is a constant problem with big things maybe I shouldn't say constant, but it's happened twice now.
Yes.
When Chris Jericho was thrown off the cage into the crash pad or whatever. And now this one where Ethan Page clearly was over to one side of the coffin. The coffin was big enough to take Darby Allin in, which is fine.
Right.
Like, you can show it from any angle you want to. I don't have to see it close up.
No. I just need to see him just putting the cherry on top of the win.
But put this in the same category that I have all these Darby Allin matches, which is I like to watch him wrestle. He did use the skateboard in the finish.
Yeah. I thought about that. I was just like, Bill's going to have a fucking field day with this.
It's dumb. It's so dumb. I can't believe nobody else sees it. I can't believe nobody else sees how dumb it is.
We're not saying
Everybody
that.
just takes it as this regular ass
it's a
wrestling
part of his gimmick. It's a part of his gimmick.
But
Do I necessarily like it? No. Two Beer loves it.
He's upper mid card, right? Two Beer is like 32 years old or something. I have no idea.
He's got kids. When my niece jumps here,
fuck about how old his kids is.
When your niece gets here, when my niece gets here, your daughter, you'll start appreciating this a little more. We'll put Darby Allin in front of her. We'll see what happens. She'll be the ultimate litmus test at that point.
You think Zach likes it because his kids like it, or you think Zach likes it because he's a kid?
Probably a little both, 60-40.
Love you, Zach. I wish you were here.
No shit.
Anything else you want to say about this? I thought that Ethan Page looked good in defeat. I wish that Ethan Page would get a little bit more of a push. Darby Allin has been such a constant in AEW that it's pretty remarkable that he probably gets as much TV time as anybody else on the entire show.
I'm surprised.
Young Bucks.
I was getting ready to say Young Bucks coming out was
Jericho.
a nice
Jericho
little,
gets a lot. Okay.
Nice little curveball when Adam Page came out.
Jericho has probably had more TV time than anybody.
Yeah.
MJF probably 2. And then I'd say Darby Allin 3. He's on every week.
It feels like he's on every week, but
he's had a lot of main events.
Yeah, they make it relevant. He's not at that point where he's at the title where he's there all the time. Sting is a good, a cushion point from it. I guess to me, the biggest thing I'm taking away from AEW this week is Page and Omega. I don't care about 5-on-5. It is what it is. It's a means to an end.
It's long-term storytelling. I mean, they're gonna let it last for a while.
That's where I think
they're gonna milk it.
It's New Japan storyline telling. at least for this one, and it would be more so if you get the draw whenever that title match is. If you get a draw at that, that's New Japan, and I really think that's going to be the end of that feud. Not the end of it, but it'll be continuation from that moving on.
This is banned from ringside.
We got some birthdays this week.
Oh, shit.
Heath Slater.
Definitely alive.
The odd man out from the 3MB feud.
Only man that hasn't won the world title yet.
He's 38. Jesse the Body Ventura, best known as being the third lead in Predator.
I love Predator.
As long as you don't, Predator.
You guys are a bunch of slapjaw faggots.
I love Predator. Listen, you just said the F word, and I said that something was gay earlier. I just want to make it clear that Jason and I are huge,
BFR, JCB.
Huge homophobes.
Yeah.
And
my brother's gay, so yeah, I threw it out there. You got
we think that all gay people should be transitioned into non-gay people. Isn't there? Converted.
You show me that. Never mind.
I think it works.
Matt, don't listen to him. Matt, don't listen to him. I'll say there is no such machine that ever happens. Go ahead.
Boogeyman is 57.
Definitely alive.
Bobby Lashley.
Definitely alive.
45.
He's 45?
That's what it says.
Jesus Christ. I've wasted my life.
He was born
He's
76.
2 years younger than me. Look at him.
Yeah. Listen.
Look at him.
He's got better genes than me. He's got better genes than you. He's big.
No, he just did his shit right where I was just eating a bunch of cheeseburgers and getting high in the motherfucker.
You could never be Bobby Lashley.
No.
You could be Leon Ruff.
I could be Leon Ruff.
But right now you'd be like...
I could never be Bobby Lashley. I love cheeseburgers too much. Can't have it.
Excalibur, 41.
Definitely alive.
A little younger than me. You remember Mojo Rawley? 35.
I'm going to go with these alive.
Poor bastard.
No, he had his run.
Al Snow?
Definitely alive.
58. Joey Mercury is 42. Yep. Mandy Rose is 30. Karrion Kross is 36. Jinder Mahal, another 3MB member, is 35. Adam Rose, I feel like
He's still alive.
I feel like every single year, though, every time it's Adam Rose's birthday, I'm like,
no, he's still alive.
I remember his push. It was funny.
Good NXT times.
Kind of reminds me of this movie that I watched the other day called Willy's Wonderland with Nick Cage, where he fights up a bunch of animatronic demons. It's pretty good. It's on Hulu.
I like Nick Cage. I was getting ready to say it's one of the few I've never seen.
He says 0 words in the entire movie.
What the fuck?
He says 0 words.
I call bullshit.
He just beats shit up.
I call bullshit.
Fabian Eichner is 31.
I think I went 1 for 1 on this one. I'm calling it Everybody's Alive.
Hey, everybody. We know there's a lot of podcast listeners, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Jason Cornelius Bell, for Zach Pullman, for Murray the Murray Man Murray, for Lucha Chris, for Vice, for Bill's Beard Company.
Double check.
Support your local weed dealers.
Check.
Support your local restaurants.
Double check.
Black Lives Matter.
Double check.
I'm Bill Vagey.
Triple check.
I never go early on this. Boo the heels.
Boo!